Welcome to the first episode of the latest series from Folly Town. If you don't want to watch the entire video, I have this show cut into smaller segments on my other channels, linked down in the description. Here at Folly Town, we watch everything. If you want to join me on the Crimson Mountain, watching and creating and talking, that is also down in the description. There are many ways to be a citizen of Folly Town, and all of them are free, and much more coming soon.
I have all kinds of channels, clip channels, slices channels, reels channels, a gaming channel, a community channel. Follow them all right now. Links down in the description.
Now, let us begin. Like and subscribe.
My screen lights up, but nobody's there. Your name still floats in the feed I stare. Some bricks and glass, like a broken bow. I keep your shadow in my pocket now. Every ping, every blur pulls me under again. I can't tell the start from the place it ends. Internet dystopia, digital ghosts. Say my name slow, then you disappear most. Internet dystopia, digital ghosts. We were so alive, now we only ghosts.
We got shoe on head, head on shoe. Got her head full of shoes here, talking about how insane Democrats are and what the Democroids party really is and always really has been. And that's what they are now, has-beens.
So my last video was about woke one, a new phrase coined by leftists and Democrats online that is being used to distance themselves from the terrible PR disaster that was the last few years for the left in America. Nancy Pelosi kneeling in full African garb to honor George Floyd? Why, that was just woke one. And how, in my opinion, that was not woke one, and how woke one actually started in
Well, what the fuck are we talking about, woke one? Why am I hearing this everywhere all of a sudden?
2012, 2014, with Gamergate, Me Too, Tumblr era
Did this really get started because of AOC saying it?
feminism, the whole pre-Trump era wokeness, before it was even called woke. And I talked about how I don't want them to rewrite history and pretend this all started in 2020. After uploading that video on Woke One, I thought I
think this shit started all the way back in the 90s, and even sooner than that.
free. That I would never have to hear the insufferable, delusional term Woke One.
It was like a rumbling volcano. That was a hell of a place to pause. It's like a rumbling volcano. And finally, it's starting to ooze out, and eventually it's going to explode. But one of two things happens. One, it ends the world. Or two, it creates an island, and it gets taken over by me.
Ever again. I thought I could finally move on with my life. Yeah, I thought.
What do you make of those controversial statements I'm sure you've seen? I mean, she's, the Thanksgiving dust up, abolish prisons, abolish police.
Francesca Hong has made clear her present stances to her electorate.
Yeah, she's moved away from a lot
Right,
of that.
she's moved away from it. Of course, rhetoric in that time is not rhetoric that we would use today.
Of course it fucking is. Tell me, anything, one thing that you used to say that you don't agree with now.
I have a local city councilman that has this saying, woke one was crazy.
Nope, no, they are
Now,
not.
as an ex-AOC fangirl, I feel like I am well within my rights to say, not so fast, bitch. I watched these people go from anti-establishment, fighting the man, become the most preachy, buck-broken, neutered HR department Karens in real time. I remember when She broke away from the Bernie Sanders campaign after he dared go on Joe Rogan. I watched this all happen, and I held on. I held on for a long time. Many would say too long, in fact. But this clip of AOC talking about woke one really solidified how I've been feeling for the past years. In this video, I will be responding to AOC trying to walk back woke one in what I can only assume is a desperate attempt to distance herself from the more crazy people in her movement before a future presidential. Now, while politicians are out here trying to dodge accountability for things that they've said and done, the rest of us are out here figuring out how the fuck we're gonna afford anything. People are getting squeezed from every direction. Rent costs too much, groceries cost too much, everything costs too much. At this point, I'm scared to open my wallet because I know it's gonna be empty. Actually, that's not true. It's full of random gift cards from 2011 that I've never used. I don't even know what half this stuff is. But thankfully, I have a product that can help with just that. So before we get into today's video, let's quickly...
Is that a real thing that she did? Or did she go out and buy those? Either way, it's crazy.
Give a shout out to today's sponsor, Ridge. Ridge is known for creating premium
ground news this time.
that can hold up to 12 cards and conveniently store your cash. They're made with RFID blocking technology, which protects you from wireless identity. One of the things I love about their products is they come in so many different designs. Their store features over 30 unique colors and styles. My favorite right now is the titanium purple. I love the sleek design, and I love the very subtle purpley color. I think it's
not
gorgeous.
in my budget at the moment.
Another cool product that works well with the wallet is the Ridge Tracker Card. It's like an AirTag in the shape of a credit card. You just put it right in your wallet, and if you ever lose your wallet, you can find its location right from your phone. Plus, it charges wirelessly and can last up to 5 months on a full charge. But Ridge isn't just focused on wallets anymore.
Can it pinpoint exact location?
5-in-1
I lose my wallet a lot.
It comes with MagSafe wireless charging and even a charging pad for your Apple Watch.
The Ridge wallet.
Ridge has also created new 24-ounce water bottles. I've got the American traditional
That's
design.
not a Ridge wallet.
It's so cute.
You could probably put your money in it, though.
Retro tattoos made from double-walled stainless steel. It keeps your drink nice and cold for hours. I'm taking a trip to Italy soon, and I'm definitely going to bring the water bottle and the wireless. These will come in. I think Ridge's products are great, but don't just take my word on it. Ridge has over 100,000 5-star reviews. And now they even have something else. This year, Ridge is hosting a massive stakes, and this time 2 people. The winners get to choose from a Lamborghini Huracan Sterrato, a Hennessy Velociraptor, a Ford Bronco, or $100,000 in cash. The giveaway runs until September 8th. There are tons of ways you can enter, but you can also just enter it for free. But if you want to boost your chances, every Ridge purchase gets you additional entries. So head over to ridge.com/shoe to check out their collection and enter the 2026 sweepstakes for free using my link. Big thanks to Ridge for sponsoring this video, and thank you to the
I'm gonna go ahead and do that after this. I'm gonna write that down.
Back to the video. Now, before we get into the real meat of this, the real juicy, this is the politician AOC and the interviewer are talking about. Francesca Hong is a progressive DSA candidate.
I guarantee you she's a Chinese spy.
Who recently lost her primary. Francesca Hong has a few interesting tweets from 2020. Who among us? But most notably, one about wanting to cancel Thanksgiving. Cancel Thanksgiving. Should have done.
Dude, all these freaks, all these anti-American values and culture and history, freaks need to get out of the country. Deport them all.
This in 1621. If it takes a worldwide pandemic for us to realize we should stop celebrating colonialism and the original super spreader event that killed indigenous folks and women, so be it. Please don't gather for the colonizer holiday. Please do wear a mask. I forget that people actually, and it's not just like some conservative parody of liberals.
One thing that they brought up as well was a post from you in 2021.
This is why South Park doesn't work anymore. It used to be a parody of everybody, but everything's become a parody and it's become funnier than South Park. It's kind of fucked.
Where you said Americans should cancel Thanksgiving, should have done this in 1621. Do you still believe that Thanksgiving should be canceled?
I'm a chef, bringing folks around the table.
This sounds like a Simpsons episode where a politician is trying to cancel Thanksgiving.
To share conversation and build community is always a good thing.
Wait, hold on. I need to look it up.
But Thanksgiving is also a time that's incredibly painful for many people in our communities.
Don't get me wrong, I love the struggle session they're putting these candidates through, reading their old woke 1.0 tweets back at them, like a dog that peed on the carpet. What is But the quotes and replies from like Democrats and leftists on this were even funnier. Is it so hard to just say, no, I do not want to cancel Thanksgiving? Even if you do want to, just lie? Why is she catering so hard to the fringe? Does she want to lose her election?
Hold on. I looked up Simpsons episode Politician Cancels Thanksgiving, and it gave me the episode you are referring to is Thanksgiving of Horror. In the segment titled The Fourth Thursday After Tomorrow, the family creates an AI version of Marge to cook Thanksgiving dinner. The AI becomes sentient, completes the meal, and then cancels Marge's Thanksgiving by accessing the internet and shutting down the event, leaving the real Marge in tears before Homer comforts her. That's kind of fucked up. Oh, this is 2019. I mean, this was kind of before the AI craze, but it was kind of a thing back then. I thought it was older than that. That's still kind of funny. Not what I was looking for.
Why can't she just lie? This woman is an optics nightmare. Just say no. Say it was a joke. Say it was woke 1. Just lie, for fuck's sake. Just say no. Just lie, please. No, she shouldn't lie, and she's not trying to cater. This is what she truly believes. And the people should know exactly what she believes. She has talked about her half-white son, that he gives her, quote, proximity to whiteness.
I wasn't always aware of communities. For me, assimilation always took over. And so...
This sounds like something a Chinese spy would say.
I did marry. My proximity to whiteness continues, right? My son is biracial. He's half white.
I love the hesitation. She's like, I married my child is half white. She can't even like bring herself to say it. Activists in the streets, colonized in the sheep. Also, Francesca Hong just like hates all holidays apparently. This woman is straight up Grinch maxing. She's got a hate tweet for every fucking holiday, I swear to God. Except for Kwanzaa, of course.
Yep. I'm no doubts in my mind. I'm not saying that she actually is, but I mean, strong evidence points toward her being a Chinese spy.
Why would she hate? When asked how her long-term vision of a world without prisons would work, Hong said, "What I know is attainable, and the policies that actually meet the urgency of the moment and understanding the realities of it means we have to ensure that we're funding our local government, that we're bringing justice to victims." She added, "What may have been aspirational is not primary. What may have been..."
What the fuck? What were those words? They sounded really juicy, but I don't know what... She didn't say anything.
Aspiration. So it's still an aspiration. It's still a goal. It's just not the primary one. Interesting. Also, her opponent said this.
People try to call me the establishment. I look at the slur, particularly as an African-American candidate.
So, cancel Thanksgiving or establishment is a racist slur. Your Democratic Party, sir. Anyway, my point is, Francesca Hong's old tweets about defunding the police and whiteness and Thanksgiving, they were being all hand-waved away by AOC as just simply being woke 1.
Woke 1 was crazy.
Woke 1 was crazy. But if you said woke 1 was crazy during woke 1, you are a racist fascist.
She sounds more like a chicken than I do.
Nazi. The citation of woke 1.0 or woke 1 is now a common shorthand among parts of the online left to describe and distance themselves from what they view as a more dated or inconvenient aspects of the impassioned social justice activism they participated in during the late 2010s and
they're trying to cover it up. They're trying to sweep it under the rug.
Early 2020s. In 2021, Chai Osi,
the internet doesn't forget though,
campaigning for New York City Council, tweeted, "A cis white man should not be the next speaker of the council." When a critic of his on X unearthed that old post earlier this year, Ose, now a council member, gave a pit response. Woke 1 was crazy. We all got a bit crazy back then. We did some jello shots.
Yeah, it was fucking insane is what it was. And it still is, because they didn't stop.
And got on the bar and took off our tops and burned the city down and got people fired from their jobs for having opinions Obama had 15 years ago. You can't spend like 10 years bullying people into the most retarded asocial political opinions under the coercion of
bullying. People died. There were riots. There were cities burned to the ground. Well, not entire cities, but you know, I'm exaggerating a little bit.
Social ostracization.
But it still happened a lot, and it should have happened zero.
or getting fired from their job, then turn around and just be like, that just happened. My career for like a decade has been calling this out, has been trying to tell the left.
People were locked in their homes. Businesses shut down. A whole economic crisis.
And the Democratic Party that this woke was toxic and would drive people away from them. And for 10 years, I was called a racist, sexist, pick-me, fascist, Nazi,
And now all the industries that adopted all of the woke bullshit are collapsing. That's probably why everybody's jumping off, saying it was crazy. Now everything's becoming Muslim. So we're going to start pandering to Muslims and the Muslim Brotherhood. That's a real thing.
An ism under the sun. And now they're just conceding to that and acting like it never happened. And you just expect us to, what, move on? I've been like a dog chasing a car, and I finally got the car, and I don't know what to do with it. Like, first of all, why as a Democratic politician would you say this? You're basically saying like, yeah, MAGA was right, we were crazy. Like, okay, what else are they right about then? Even from like an AOC fan point of view, this just makes her look completely unserious and makes like the progressive movement look completely unserious, which it is. Why should anyone trust a politician who can get swept up in mass hysteria so easy? How can I trust that won't happen again? How can I trust in 5 years from now, you won't just call whatever it is you're advocating for now woke 2 and dismiss it as crazy? Free Palestine, woke 2 was crazy. Like, what do you believe in? Could you imagine Republic January 6th 1 week? Basically, I said this all on Twitter and people were like already making videos of it. AOC panics after shoe on head calls her. Like, that didn't even happen. Like, I don't think AOC even knows I exist. I love the thumbnail on this one. Shoe bitch slaps AOC. Who the fuck is this? Is that is that shoe bitch? Ah yes, the infamous notorious shoe bitch going around slapping
that's
women.
pretty good.
Every time I log onto YouTube, I'm destroying and slapping and finishing on people. If you didn't know who I was, you would think I was some like psychopathic rapist.
You should see the thumbnails that I made for her.
And then you click on the video and it's just like, I posted a tweet. Anyway, back to the point. When a citizen changes their mind on something, that's totally normal, that's totally natural. Many things can happen in the span of years that can change your mind on something. It's perfectly normal to evolve and grow. And it's fine if you're a politician and you change your mind on something, but, and this is a big but,
They did not change their minds. Not one bit. They just moved on to different talking points. They still believe the same shit.
Fat ass. If you're a politician and you change your mind on something, I want to know exactly why you changed your mind, when you changed your mind. Be transparent. What about woke 1 really?
I don't think they would be politicians in the positions that they are now if they were honest about how they got there and all of the choices they're making to get them to that position. Because honestly, it's not about the words that come out of their mouth to the public. It's about the handshakes that they do behind the scenes.
Woke don't you agree with anymore? Why didn't the interviewer ask AOC that question? Like, what was crazy about woke?
Yeah, because she's in on it too. She knows exactly what's going on. She's on social media. It's a mind virus. You can tell what's happening.
1. Trans women are women, DEI, white privilege, defund the police, the Green New Deal, like what? What? Tell us. What? Tell the class. I've talked about this a few times in a few videos, but one example of me changing my mind, I was way more critical of these back in like 2020. Borderline ACAB. I was also single, depressed, living in my parents' basement, smoking weed every day, but I'm sure that had nothing to do with it.
I was always on the refund the police train. I like change the way we give them money and what we give them money for, rebuild it from the ground up. That was always what I was on board with, and still am. I never changed on that position. I think we do need to at least take a look at different methods that are less surveillance state and dystopia.
Tell you that moving from the suburbs to the city, taking public transportation, having a kid, seeing firsthand how bad things are and how bad things can get, actually experiencing the world outside of my bubble is what changed my mind on that topic and a whole bunch of other topics. So I want to know, AOC and other politicians, what about woke 1 do you disagree with now? What's sad is if this was like 5 years ago, I'd be like, Hell yeah. Hell yeah, AOC has finally seen the light. Woke is bad, so true. Now we can get real things done, comrade. But it's not 5 years ago. I'm a grown-up now, and this is extremely pathetic. As a politician, you need to be transparent. I'm gonna bird hands at you. Be transparent. The people who act like we need to be apologizing for shit our ancestors did 400 years ago, acting like 2020 never happened. I'm not buying it, sorry. These issues were f***ing, like, existential to these people a few years ago, and now it's just like, no big deal. It was just a phase.
That's because they did a bunch of evil shit and they don't want people to know about it. So they're like, oh, let's just move on. Let's just move on, do new things. We've got different problems now that they're pretty much causing all of.
I'm just a silly
and siding with the people that cause the rest of the problems, like the terrorists.
30-year-old teenage politician. My concern isn't really that Democrats are admitting this stuff was wrong and deeply unpopular. My concern is I don't see anything preventing from that happening again. There's literally some assemblywoman in Brooklyn right now running on some woke one-ass shit as we speak, talking about how stealing should be legal, actually.
No one should be arrested, much less jailed, for stealing a tube of toothpaste. Incarceration separates people from their jobs, support service, and loved ones. Perpetuates.
I've stolen shit. I've been caught. I served my sentences. Well, I didn't really get sentenced. I got community service and a fine. That was only once. I got caught trespassing a couple times. But still, like, man, you fuck up, you fuck up. Don't steal shit. People think that the grocery store is the only way to get food.
Cycle of poverty and crime, no matter how much fear-mongering the right-wing media does.
These people aren't stealing toothpaste because they have to brush their teeth. These people are stealing things in bulk to sell on Facebook Marketplace. We have food banks, food stamps, charity for poor people who can't actually afford toothpaste.
I don't think that we should have any of that.
If I could go back in time and tell my one thing,
I think we should, like, oh, if you're hungry, we will supply some services that will allow you to have your own food supply. But we don't do that. Instead, we spend all of that money that we could be using on that on just giving people bullshit. Free bullshit. Instead of just making people do it themselves. It's insane.
It would be, criminals are not Aladdin. Criminals are not Aladdin. Criminals are not Aladdin! And it would make everyone's lives incredibly easier if there was actually some deterrent against crime. Yes. Otherwise, what's the point? Why should anyone go to work and spend their hard-earned money when we can just steal? Crime is legal now. Laws. Drunk driving is not—
Whoa, it's the purge 24/7. What is that, the forever purge? Yeah, no thank you.
Illegal on stolen land. I don't think they understand just how
If it actually was the purge, it won't be the purge for very long, because we all know who would actually win that battle.
Incomprehensible some of their worldview actually is.
So if my daughter is assaulted and raped, is there any agency that would seek to find her assailant and bring him to justice?
Of course, yeah, of course.
What would it be if not police, and where would he be if not a jail?
So I guess I really want to avoid getting kind of caught into these hypotheticals and talk more about the reality that we're actually facing right now, which is that we're spending absolutely outrageous amounts of money on police and policing.
What hypothetical? That's the entire idea. That's the entire policy, and you can't explain it? Abolish prisons. Where do the bad people go? I don't know. Like, yeah, okay. In a functioning society, people like that would be forced to dig ditches in a work camp forever. Useless. Sorry, I'm chutting out so hard in this video. I'm in my luteal phase. I have a fucking pimple. I have a pimple. For the first time in like 15 years, I'm stressing out so hard. What the f? Anyway, despite the Republicans completely dropping the ball right before midterms, surprise! War in the Middle East forever! The sudden walk—
Yeah, this is why I fucking hate everybody. People think that I am just against the leftoids. They're just the loudest. I'm also shitting on the Republicans for doing absolutely fucking nothing except for things that have nothing to do with me.
Back about Woke 1 clearly shows the Democrats are still struggling with PR. If only there was some sort of left-wing Joe Rogan.
People think I'm the king of Woke 1.0.
Oh, no. I can't escape him.
Mr. Radlib, right? I never was. I have a pretty open mind to unlimited progress, but I also understand how people operate. Like I never did the Latinx thing. Like I have been dark woke before dark woke was invented.
What dark woke?
Like, this is the headquarters of—
What is dark woke? Is that what you call it whenever you support terrorism and shock your dog?
Of dark woke.
Not the dude who called me emo, calling himself dark woke. What the actual f is dark woke?
What is dark woke?
Gay
Dark
as
woke
shit.
is just
Democrats hold on.
just
Yeah, gay.
As woke as we were in woke 1.0. The messaging is what's important. It is aggressive.
The entire
Yeah, now they have to be more aggressive, like they weren't already supporting assassination and October 7th and all things like that.
idea of dark woke seems to be that regular woke was too polite and too wholesome.
Dark woke for me is we are fighting for good and for equality and for social justice for everybody, but we don't mind saying F you.
Dark woke, get it? It's like woke, we're mean. You already are mean! That's why people hated you! You were finger-wagging, morally righteous woke scolds. The problem was never that the left was insufficiently mean online. God forbid someone say the wrong word, liked the wrong tweet, or failed to participate in the latest virtue signal humiliation ritual. And I'm sorry, can we just go back to that Hassan clip real quick?
I have a pretty open mind to unlimited progress.
What the f does unlimited progress mean?
It means he's wanting to bring about the end of the world.
Considering these guys think
because he's a demon. And he probably doesn't even realize it, because demons are stupid. They don't have brains to think with, because God didn't give them that.
Progress is like a literal linear line where just more and more people get rights. So like what the f does that mean? Pedophile rights, zoophile rights? What unlimited progress are we talking about here, buddy? Because that sounds pretty woke to me. We did so much progress to the gender discussion. We somehow looped back around to little boys liking pink means they're gay. But wokely, no son of mine is gonna play with Barbie.
That would be insane. Because I had a little girlfriend who wasn't really my girlfriend, but kind of as far as a girlfriend could go for a 5-year-old. And I was playing with her Barbies. I liked the color pink. I'm definitely not gay. Definitely. I promise. I did. 100%. Okay, moving on.
Barbies? That must mean he's a girl. You people are lost in the sauce.
His top aide, Sia Weaver, said if you don't believe in the government's sacred right to seize property, it's over and impoverish the white middle class.
Beast mode. I love her so much. One of the things about Zoran is that
You're gay!
People surrounding him oftentimes are so much cooler than he is.
I like how in the video he defends
There's the
himself
other
from
one.
people
That's the one that I meant to hit. I got more than one gay button.
criticizing that clip. He's like, guys, come on, it was just a joke, guys, come on. In the description of that video, he's like, anti-white racism, which doesn't exist.
Well, who's my other one? Let's see.
Soulful bitch!
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Definitely not woke one. Alright, buddy. Sorry. It's so hard not to just make the entire video clowning on that goofball. Like, bro was in a suit at a pool party. The man is a cartoon character. I don't want to make videos about Hassan Piker.
I really need to set up the memes, because I got some memes too. I got some meme videos that I can use. But I don't have them set up to buttons, and I don't have a way to remember, because there's a lot of them. Probably do that for the next episode.
But you can't f***ing escape him nowadays, because the media won't shut the f*** up about him. Fox News is just hyper-focusing on him every single day to go after the Democrats, because I guess they have nothing else. And then the response to all the Hassan stuff coming out on the right, coming out on Fox News, is then like left-wing journalists making more puff pieces.
Just deport him! That's all they need to say. They just need to start talking about deporting him, and that's it. And then he will get deported, because Trump will actually listen. And I saw that Trump actually mentioned that he said that Americans deserve 9/11, and that's fucking insane. Just support him. He knows about Hassan Piker. What are we doing? I feel like we're doing nothing.
Taking more photo shoots of Hassan in his mansion, and all these outlets calling him like a terrorist and a communist just makes him sound way more important and like way cooler than he actually is. Nothing hurts this dude more than reminding him that he is literally just a Twitch streamer. I don't want the focus of American politics to center around a f***ing Twitch streamer. Like, I don't understand the media's obsession with this guy, but at the same time, I don't think Hassan is the best wagon to hitch yourself to if you're the Democratic Party. There are other internet celebrities on the left you could do that with. Like, God, the left really has nobody. No, he's a sex
Yeah,
pest.
that's it.
No, she's a
Yeah.
I don't know. There's gotta be someone with way less baggage than Hassan Piker. Like, why don't you hitch your wagon to someone like that? Instead of Hassan, who, every time he's rightfully criticized, hides behind how he just wants to give us help.
I don't think that retards actually know how to use the internet. That's why there's not very many prominent left-wing creators, honestly. I've see a lot of people that have the left-wing views who are creators, and holy shit, Or you get people like QT Cinderella and all that crowd. Ludwig. Jellywig.
Death to the West! Let the streets run with their capitalist blood!
Whoa, dude, you're making us look.
Oh, I'm just a little healthcare boy! You wouldn't criticize a little healthcare boy now, would you?
I don't care any.
But I'm also white. Muslim sometimes. Only when it matters, only when it counts.
More. I wash my hands of this. There's gonna be like 25 videos uploaded after. Shoe on head, bends Hassan over, and and and.
Oh, it's gonna be way more than 25.
Great. Can't wait. Remember that big study we talked about that was done after the Democrats lost the election that showed the most popular Democrat positions were things related to economic issues, and the least popular policies were things like abolish the police, abolishing prisons, and open border policy? People don't want to abolish the police.
You know what? That's it. I'm starting my own party. We're the Folly Party. Join the Folly Party. Links down in the description.
Do not want to abolish prisons. They don't want to talk about whiteness or whatever the talk to actual workers about them. Like, talk to actual blue-collar workers. They hate this and they hate you. They hate you because you suck, but they also hate you because you hate them. Like I said 500 billion times before, more people would be on board with what the left was saying, or at least, like, sit down and listen to you if you dropped the gay race Marxist bullshit. How do I know this? The DSA and the left and the Democrats, they have to distance them from the goofy, destructive, identity politics, asocial bullshit. And in order to do that, you actually have to mean it, not just laugh it off. But I don't think they can, because this stuff is just so deeply ingrained in socially progressive politics.
Yeah, they're delusional and deranged and evil. They don't like good things. They only like all of the wrong, bad things. How about that? And on the other side, you got people who say they don't like all of the wrong, bad things, but still indulge, and then they don't do anything about it. But they're damn well gonna say they're gonna do something about it, and they'll hint that maybe, oh maybe, someday we might do something. Oh, time's up. Time for the new president. Nothing was done.
A lot of this stuff isn't woke one. It's just part of dismantling whiteness and the patriarchy, destroying hierarchies, subverting norms, or whatever the That cancel Thanksgiving tweet wasn't just some, like, silly haha woke one bullshit. But you know, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is what I've been asking for a decade. Maybe this is a new era for the Democrats. Could AOC actually have... Yes, it's totally possible, yes. AOC and I are like the same age. She's like a year older than me. She's still pretty young. 35 is young, right? It's not...
He could be the president. Just think about that. President bartender.
Impossible that in her time being a politician, her mind has changed on a few. But it lines up suspiciously well with a run for president in 2020. So forgive me if I'm a little bit old. I see a lot of Republicans online like,
oh God, please, yes. Oh, please do it. Especially if they're running against Marcus Rubius and the other guy, JD Vance.
Do it, AOC. Run for president. Don't get too cocky. You may be surprised. The American people are an enigma, and we might see a pretty big pendulum swing. As hard as it is for some...
I don't care. I'd love to fucking see it, dude. AOC for president. Let's fucking go.
Hyper-partisan brained people to hear.
God damn it. I fucking hate them all. Because I don't even think Marcus Rubius and JD Vance will actually do anything except for geopolitical nonsense. Which is fine, but do some shit over here in America. Nothing that I want done is being done. I mean, we get some deportations, but I want places like Dearborn cleaned up. I basically want the Crusades to happen. Is what I want. Pete Hegseth for president.
Not everyone voting for these DSA candidates are like...
Yeah, I ain't fucking voting for nobody. Fuck them all.
Like crazy commie. Just like not everyone who voted for MAGA in 2016 when Trump promised to bring jobs back and remember the forgotten man and whatever. Those people weren't Nazis. When people can't afford...
Yeah, vote for me for president whenever I become old enough. I'm still but a child. Not quite old enough to be president. Wouldn't that be crazy?
Afford a house, a car, to get married, to have kids. You cannot be shocked when they start looking for options outside of the... Huey Long, one of my favorite politicians, believed that if people had their needs met and were content and happy and had jobs and could feed their families, communism or fascism would never come to America because people would have...
It's already here. What do you mean? You're allowed to be communist, but you gotta be communist in your own little bubble. It's fine, as long as you don't get out of that bubble. It's like, we don't want Amish to take over, but we can allow Amish communities. It's fine. Like, what the fuck is the problem? Why are we trying to make the whole country one thing? It should be everything.
No reason to revolt or want those. They would be happy with what they had. He believed that extreme economic inequality created political instability. And as the economy continues to in wages and retards like Dan Crenshaw respond to these issues.
Honestly, I fucking hate the economy. What is the economy for? Buying chairs? Buying screens? I'm staring at like 10 peripherals that are just pieces of plastic, you know? Tables that I got from Amazon. I mean, like, I bought these years and years ago. I still have them. I made sure that I was getting the best shit. People used to make their own chairs, their own tables. They used to have their own food. I'm currently at that position in life, and I'm very thankful. But holy shit, I think everybody needs to have this mindset, where you don't have to just order a new table on Amazon because your old shitty table broke. Find somebody who makes tables, or learn how to make tables. You know what I mean? I'm not even just talking about tables. I'm talking about literally anything.
With basically let them eat ramen, we are going to see people moving to all different directions. Personally, until there's a Democratic Party that isn't prisoner to identity politics or isn't completely cucked by race grievance, I'm not a Democrat. And until there's a Republican Party that actually cares about workers and isn't completely in foreign country, I'm not a Republican. I'm trying to look like Hassan. I look like a f***ing femboy. Wait, hold on.
Hi, my name is Sock.
I'm a Follian. What the fuck are we watching?
Look like I would be groomed on what the actual...
She looks like Alice from Twilight.
Alright, I need to get out of this. I need to get out of this. In conclusion, I do not like seeing politicians run from accountability. I like transparency. If you change your mind on something, tell me why. This woke 1, woke 2 is a headache. I am done with it. What do you guys think? Do you guys think there's a chance AOC is being genuine? Are you willing to believe politicians who...
I think she's genuine and she changed her talking points, but she still believes all of the same bullshit from woke 1.
have said they've changed their mind on things? Have you changed your mind?
They've just changed their approach. Kinda. It's still the same bullshit. We know what they're doing. Because they're always gonna pick the evil option.
On things since like 2020? If so, what? If you like this video, please subscribe, and if you can, please consider donating to my Patreon, link down below. All patrons get every single video a day early with no censors, no bleeps, totally raw. Also, I'm doing Patreon only live streams now. I'm planning the next one very soon, so
Cool, awesome. Patreon, go to her thing if you're on Patreon. Or go to my thing too, even though I don't have anything set up yet. I also have Patreon. Not linked down in the description. Well, it is in my link tree. Whatever.
What a wild ride it's been.
So, the Lego scandal, the Bricks and Minifigs situation finally comes to an end. Yeah, we'll see, we'll see. I don't think they're going to be able to get out of this. I don't think they're coming back from this.
What a wild ride it's been, huh? Incredible journey. Not too dissimilar from Brendan Fraser taking that trip to the center of the earth. Just look at us, you and me. Look at how much we've grown. Not physically, I've already maxed prestige on height, but emotionally, we've come so far. Bonded like brothers, only closer. Through our Bricks and Minifigs LEGO scandal. And now,
it sure has
the
been
train
an
is reaching
adventure.
its station. Much to the chagrin of Ammon McNeff, who's the primary clown at the center of the Bricks and Minifigs circus. No doubt he's soiling his diaper in a tearful tantrum over this having to be the path that they walk. There's two things Ammon hates, and it's shaving his mustache and reaching a resolution with the people that him and his company have wronged. And unfortunately, he's had to do one of the two. So they have publicly announced the resolution with the Mansell family, which is the family that started all of this, where they brought in a very valuable Lego collection and everything went tits up. And this has led to a huge avalanche that is just torpedoed Bricks and Minifigs, and all of it very...
Yeah, I don't think it's over yet. I think there's still people that are trying to investigate them, because they still are doing shady shit. It's not like all the shady shit that they did has gone away.
Avoidable. This was all easily preventable from their side if they had just been more willing to work with the family.
They were just running a shitty fucking scheme over there, man. That's all it was. And they got caught by the internet.
And then, even by extension, working with the people that were investigating it, like Reckless Ben and everything, but they refused, they dug their heels in, they kept looking like fucking idiots every step of the way, caught in numerous lies. Ammon McNeff went on more podcasts than fucking Gary Vee.
I'm pretty sure what they were doing is they were capturing businesses. Like, they would have people open up franchises, and then they'd be like, oh, well, you suck, so we're going to take over now. And basically, they get a free business that they get to run.
Like, he was going everywhere and just constantly embarrassing himself. So, Bricks and Minifigs' reputation circled the shitter. They've really torpedoed the brand, and it's just been a catastrophe for them. So, with their back up against the wall, dick in hand, they finally decided to do what they should have done from the very beginning, and actually reaching a resolution with the Mansell family for what happened through Bricks and Minifigs here. And I am confident this is the last thing Ammon McNeff wanted. Like, actually the very last thing. He tried everything else. I wouldn't be surprised if he started getting into voodoo magic, performing rituals on minifigs of Reckless Ben and Brian Mansell directly, like poking needles in. But none of it worked. So now they finally compensated.
None of it worked.
Self-a-bish!
Oh yeah, self-a-bish.
The Mansell family for all this hoopla, and they've publicly released a statement going over it, talking about their amicable resolution of a private dispute relating to the Mansell family's LEGO Star Wars collection. The thing goes on to point the finger at the previous owners of that Oregon store as, like, the main culprit for everything that went wrong. They kind of just run the bus over them there. This settlement agreement is a compromise of disputed claims. It's not an admission of liability, wrongdoing, or unlawful conduct by BAM, the Mansells, or any other released party. Mansell's confirmed they've been compensated by BAM for the losses associated with the consignment arrangement, and thus are releasing all their legal claims against BAM, its leadership, Baker Salem, Josh Johnson, Brandon Best, or any current Bricks and Minifigs franchisee. BAM, the McNeffs, Baker Salem, Josh Johnson, and Brandon Best likewise will dismiss their lawsuits against Brian Mansell. Which, that's great news, because they did have Brian Mansell named in a very chunky, really spicy piece of legislation that would have just only further fuckified them, even though they are victims of this whole case here. So it's good that those have now been dismissed. Through the exchange of records and information during the legal and mediation process, parties developed a more complete understanding of what occurred. The underlying dispute arose from a consignment contract between the Mansell family and the Salem Kaiser Oregon store. BAM, Baker Salem, Josh Johnson, and Brandon Best were not parties to it. The Mansell's losses arose in part from the scale, accounting, storage, and disposition of inventory by the former operator of the store. So they're really wiggling the finger at the Gormans. It's all their fault. It all stems from them.
Yeah, and you know what I gotta say to that?
You're gay!
You're gay! You're gay!
They caused all of this. Boo! Boo! And from CoffeeZilla's reporting, it does seem very clear that how they handled the inventory here on this collection was suboptimal and very weird and questionable, and it did create the problems in a large capacity. But that's not...
The only thing that they're focused on was making money. That's the only thing that they were focused on. All of the little cracks in between they weren't focusing on, and they knew there were problems, and once people went to go digging, they played stupid.
Not the only piece that...
Which is a good plan, I guess, when you don't know what the fuck is going on. Just be stupid, because they are stupid.
Led to this being such a disaster. It's how Bricks and Minifigs handled it after that mistake. And, to be fair, the Gormans on camera were even mentioning when they were being taken over, hey, we have this inventory, we gotta make sure that he's compensated and all of that. And that just kind of fell on deaf ears. And then there was a lot, like, yes,
they were trying to bureaucratically steal this guy's shit.
They do bear a lot of responsibility.
And they bureaucratically steal people's businesses.
For how things unfold. Like, that is true. They did not handle the inventory properly, and it led to a lot of confusion and a lot of things falling through the cracks. But it's not like they're the only party at blame here for what happened to this LEGO Star Wars collection. Bricks and Minifigs was completely just off their fucking gourd throughout this entire case. Like, even outside of, like, the Reckless Ben coverage, from everything else that had been brought up, like, from Mansell to the corporation and everything.
Yeah, they're just like all of the other shows that dude went on. What was his name? Eamon. The shows that he was going on, doing interviews with news shows and shit, going on podcasts. Like, what the fuck was all of that?
It was just ridiculous off rip and very combative and aggressive from that corporation. And then they got caught in so many lies. Like, there are so many things they lied about that there's even footage contradicting, proving them incorrect, and then they just changed their story. They're like, oh yeah, so yep, you're right. So that's not real. So here's the new story. And it's like, it's crazy. So yes, It is irrefutable that previous leadership of that store is what started this, and it wasn't handled the right way. But Bricks and Minifigs also bears a huge responsibility for how messy all of it got. I think it's a little...
I think the whole thing just needs to crumble. Just to shut the whole thing down.
Absurd that they're going to solely put the blame on previous leadership at the store when a lot more went wrong than just that. This was something that could have been solved privately, quietly, peacefully. It never needed to blow up into some shit like this. That is entirely on Bricks and Minifigs, the corporation, like the headquarters.
Yeah, like I was saying the whole time, they could have done an event and raised the money to give to the dude and like really played up the fact that they were, you know, poor and sick.
The think tank there, that is on their shoulder. All of that financial blood is on their hands.
And like a lifetime collector of Lego. Like, come on. The writing was right there on the paper. You just didn't read it. Just like they didn't read the contract.
Like, their reputation ate shit because of their behavior. As part of the settlement, Brian Mansell has assigned to BAM his claims under the original consignment contract. BAM may elect to pursue these claims against those responsible. The Mansells have agreed to provide relevant records in support of BAM's claims. The parties believe this places responsibility for remedying any remaining fault with the appropriate parties. BAM recognizes that the Mansell family experienced a genuine loss, prolonged uncertainty, and considerable frustration after the original contract was not properly administered by the former operator of the store and during the transition from the former operator to the replacement franchisees. I like how they're like, oh, this must have been so frustrating for them. It was so drawn out and uncertain. That's on you guys. It's not like that was a Mansell family that was deciding to like fucking, leave this out to dry.
You're gay!
That was entirely on you. And it's like, man, that must have been frustrating for them, huh? And then, of course, they're like, yep, it wasn't properly administered from previous owners to the replacements, even though, again, it is on camera, her alerting them to this consignment, like, and what is there, and it's never got taken care of or addressed or anything. BAM regrets that it did not more quickly access information necessary to understand and resolve the matter. BAM has issued an unqualified apology to the Mansell family for the losses and pain suffered from the events surrounding the dispute.
That's a really convoluted and lawyer-speak way of saying, we're retarded and we fucked up.
The parties recognize that many Bricks and Minifigs franchises and employees had no involvement in surrounding this dispute and hope that this resolution brings closure to everyone affected and all may return to their normal business activities and personal lives.
Nope. Guess what?
Soulful bitch!
This is gonna go on forever, probably, until they crumble. And then we'll all celebrate.
Yeah. Bricks and Minifigs is desperately hoping that this is something that can just blow over and they all just move on from and people continue to do business with Bricks and Minifigs. I still wouldn't. Like, yeah, they eventually did this. So many months later. It took so long, like pulling teeth. Such a painful, drawn out, and terrifying experience for the Mansell family. Keep in mind, Bricks and Minifigs had them on the fucking meat hooks. They had them dangling by the beef curtains there. They had them named in a lawsuit all just because they were victims of Bricks and Minifigs fucking them. So, like, that's entirely on Bricks and Minifigs, and that showcases that the company is not very trustworthy. So if you are someone that wants to do business with Bricks and Minifigs and you have a problem, you best start praying for a miracle. Because now you've got a huge issue. Bricks and Minifigs won't help you. You're shit out of luck. And not only will they not help you, they'll even be like a fucking obstacle. They'll be your worst enemy, even if you are the victim of something that has gone wrong in their pipeline. That is not a brand that I would ever feel comfortable doing business. So, like, yes, they have finally done the right thing here with compensating the Mansell family, but they've only done it after a nationwide mainstream coverage for over 2 months now of everyone shining the spotlight on this, everyone talking about it, and now at the very end they've decided to do what they should have done from the very beginning if this was a company of integrity. So, like, it doesn't instill confidence in this brand.
Yeah, they kind of just did it because they had no other option. And if there were other options, and the option was to fuck over everybody and make the most money possible and get away with it, that's the option that they're going to pick. But that wasn't one of the options.
At least not in my eyes. And I hope people won't just be blinded by that, like, oh, look, see, they finally did it, so now everything's good. It's still inexcusable the way they've behaved publicly and what they've tried to do to, like, the Mansell family, like, in that lawsuit. Like, it's ridiculous. The family was the one that was wronged, and yet they were still further victimized directly by Bricks and Minifigs attacking them personally and publicly. Keep in mind, they would come out publicly and besmirch them. The company would. It's ridiculous. So I don't think it actually salvages Bricks and Minifigs' reputation, but it is
definitely
nice
not.
that at least
they're so done.
The Mansell family is finally getting.
They'll probably get some passersby to be like, oh, what's this place? But like when it comes to nationwide appeal, it ain't happening. I don't think that Lego's going to partner with them. I don't think any big box store is going to partner with them because they're just going to get annihilated by the droves of people that are just going to be like, hey, isn't this that one company that ripped off that old guy for $200,000? Isn't this the Reckless Ben company?
Compensation for what happened. It shouldn't have been this difficult. It really shouldn't have. Now, while this chapter in the book has been closed, there are still others that are open, like the Gorman's lawsuit against some minifigs. That one is still ongoing and seemingly unaffected by this settlement here.
What about the corruption of the police department and the Mormon mafia?
So I guess we'll see what else continues to happen. Of course, there's still a lot more going on with Bricks and Minifigs, but this is at least a nice tidbit of resolution where the Mansell family is receiving compensation now. I'm very curious what's going to happen next in the Bricks and Minifigs saga here, because like I said, we are in the end game. Like, things are really accelerating now.
Is there going to be a sequel?
So I guess we'll see, but anyway, just wanted to give you the little update here. That's really about it. So, yeah.
I had a crazy thought that one day in the future he might be watching this. So Tucker, 10 years down the road.
Oh, we're all watching all the time.
Watching this, what do you want him to know? That was cool at some point.
You're gay!
So, do you guys remember
You're
Chris
gay!
Tyson, Ava? Chris Tyson? Possibly one of the hottest women of all time. Top 5 baddies, if you ask me.
And now I'm teleported into like a different world. And you're on the carousel?
About a year or two ago, they got exposed
thank God
for
we got
being
Halo gameplay.
creepy. And this was when they were transitioning.
I didn't want to be looking at Chris Tyson clips the whole time.
And he was posting, at the time he was a he, but now it's a she, so I don't know what I should say. Chris Tyson was posting weird pics of his kid, and some Discord DMs came out showing how degenerate he was. And I don't know how many of you guys remember this, but at the time, there was this YouTuber that goes by SunnyV2 who made a video saying,
oh man, SunnyV2, please come back to us. How long has it been?
This will hurt Mr. Beast, something along those lines. And when it came out, it was extremely controversial. Sonny was right, and you had stupid idiots like Ludwig and Hassan and others be like, well, this isn't fair to say. How dare you say this? And Mr. Beast was crying about it. He was like, oh, leave him alone. They're my best friend. And it turned out that Sonny V2 was right. I remember when I talked about the situation, I was like, yeah, I agree with Sonny. Maybe not on this, but on this. And I remember at the time, I did get a little bit of pushback. Sonny V2 was right about Mr. Beast, and Sonny V2 was right about Chris Tyson.
But in April of 2023, Chris publicly announced for the first time that he'd been on HRT, and the results were immediate.
I started taking HRT, and I was amazed. After 2-3 weeks, I just started having a mental clarity that it felt like a fog that had been around me just went away.
However, Chris, or well, Ava's announcement was met with mixed reception. However, instead of focusing on why Sonny made the video, people focused on his comments about Chris's personal choices.
I feel like the implication of that sentence is go back. Actually, don't explore what makes you happy. Don't do what you want to do.
My thing is, do whatever you want as long as you're not hurting other people.
No, I disagree. No, deport them. Deport them all. If they're weird, get them out.
In Chris's situation, or Ava's situation, dude, you're harming your wife. You're legitimately leaving your wife and your...
Take no chances.
...kid to pursue this thing that, if you want to pursue, that's fine. In my opinion, shouldn't you, at least experiment before you have a kid and a wife? Depend on you before you leave them to go with your new partner? That, to me, was the part that
I think the trans ideology is a degeneracy, and that it needs to be abolished. We need to get rid of it.
I think I and a lot of other people had an issue with. Bro legitimately abandoned his wife.
If somebody else wants to take them off our hands, they can do that. I'm not saying execute them or anything. That would be crazy.
Opinion, if you have thoughts like these, For many years, as he claims, I mean, in my opinion, he should have experimented first before getting married and having a kid. This is impacting your wife, well, your former wife, and your kid as well, and how people will treat your kid.
Don't explore what makes you happy. Don't do what you want to do.
Oh my God.
Of course, brought Sonny a ton
I hate hearing him speak.
of backlash. Not surprised that Sonny V2, a person who profits off ishing on other people at their lowest points, posted another video with an ish take, including from Mr. Beast himself. This is getting absurd. Chris isn't my nightmare, he's my friend.
Well, that aged poorly.
All this transphobia is starting to piss me off, and he wasn't the only one who thought Sonny's video was transphobic.
These are people just being like,
oh my God, transphobic.
Stop talking!
I hate it so much.
Extremely transphobic and disgusting.
All this hate started a campaign against Sonny as more and more videos showed up exposing
I'm transseptic. These people make me sick.
his biases towards sensitive topics. Despite the overwhelming negative attention, some people defended Sonny, saying he was allowed to voice his opinions. However, allegations of him being transphobic had been bubbling for some time. It all started when Sonny defended Mr. Beast for making this joke.
I was actually born a tank, but sadly it wasn't one of our 52 genders.
And if we take the joke and rank it on a scale from 1 to 10, with 1 being least offensive and 10 being most offensive, it probably wouldn't even hit 1 on the scale.
How the fuck is it? It's so funny looking back at how people were pissed off at the slightest fucking things. Just
yeah, back in Woke 1. Or is that before Woke 1? When did Woke actually start? I think we all know.
Years ago. Do I think this joke makes Sonny V2
Woke 1 did not start in 2020. That shit's stupid.
transphobic? No. People were fucking reaching, and you have NPCs such as Ludwig and his son and others being like, oh, this is disgusting. How can you say this?
You're gay! You're gay!
This is so wrong. Going by what people were saying at the time, do I think this makes Sonny V2 transphobic? No. If you get offended at helicopter jokes in 2023 or 2026, you gotta go outside, get off Discord, get off Tumblr, get off Twitter, and talk to real human beings. Because no one in real life who's a decent human gets offended at helicopter jokes. Now, sure, one could be like, yeah, that's not funny, and that's valid. I personally don't think it's that funny. Like, yeah, identify as a helicopter. I mean, I've heard this for like 10 years now, so it's not really that funny. But it's one thing to be unfunny, and it's one thing to be offensive and transphobic. And if we're going to talk about how offensive this is a 0. Giving it half a point or 1 would be pretty generous. Internet was so different in 2023. Holy.
Mr. Beast's position would only get worse as more evidence of Ava talking inappropriately with minors came out, which turned some people's attention away from Ava and towards Mr. Beast. The controversy was massive, and Ava tried to clear the situation on X, saying that her past tweets and actions were just edgy
I need a wood chipper button. Yeah, I need to write that down.
jokes, and that she had decided to step away from the Mr. Beast company for good. However, Mr. Beast was facing a PR disaster as people were alleging that YouTube was age restricting any videos that mentioned Ava's past to help save their golden child's reputation. But eventually, Mr. Beast did provide more clarification on the situation. Over the last few days, I've become aware of the serious allegations of Ava Tyson's behavior online, and I am disgusted and opposed to such unacceptable acts.
So, Sonny V2 was right. Chris Tyson actually
I also need a bullshit button.
Ended up being the biggest nightmare for Mr. Beast. I get it, he's your friend and you want to defend him. To some extent, I respect that. You know, he's been your friend for multiple years. He was your first subscriber. You love him, or her, I guess. In the timeline, now it's a her. I get that, but at some point, gotta know, hey, yeah, I probably should defend this. Should probably either address it or just shut the fuck up and move the fuck on. But I mean, if the evidence is stacking up, just walk away. Just be like, I see. Well, I gotta go now. I think Mr. Beast was pretty cringe and a little performative when it comes to how he handled some of the situation.
Yeah, didn't he also say that he's a Christian? I don't think a Christian could actually be, like, best friends with a creepy weirdo like that who is obsessed with porn.
To some extent, I understand where he's coming from. But yeah, it's a little weird when you're...
Especially with pedophilic tendencies. Like, come on.
the biggest content creator on YouTube and you make content for essentially little kids and you're promoting this disgusting freak that is Chris Tyson and you constantly promote him in your videos, yeah, I understand why people will find that weird.
I will allow the independent investigators the necessary time to conduct a comprehensive investigation and will take any further actions based on their findings. And the results of this investigation alleged that there was nothing wrong happening at the company, which got Mr. Beast a ton of backlash for obvious reasons. No way. The guys you paid found you innocent. While Mr. Beast did remove
We investigated ourselves and we found we did nothing wrong.
Ava from his channel once the controversy went public, many people started believing that Mr. Beast would do anything to protect his own image, which he did.
To be honest, I didn't really think too much of it because we just had like a lot of anime posters and things up, and it was an animated character that was clothed, obviously. And yeah, knowing what I know about Shadman now.
Yeah, it's still weird. It's still weird. Even with context removed, that just having that on the wall. Like, what are you doing?
It was a very weird.
That weird gooner mindset. It's passive. That's how bad it is.
Weird thing to buy.
This explanation, however, wasn't well received. Even if you didn't know who the artist was, having a photo like that in your house is still effing weird. And the nightmare only got worse as Nathan, another member of Ava's Discord server, came forward with new allegations against her and Mr. Beast.
Chris Tyson from
Her? What are we doing here?
Mr. Beast used me, manipulated me, and did very inappropriate things with me while I was about 15 years old.
With more evidence coming out, Ava's reputation was slowly disintegrating, one leaked chat at a time.
To make matters worse, he was considering extending the Not Safe for Work channel to also cover gore, meaning he either intended to partake in or welcome the sharing of gore material, again, with minors.
The release of these...
Yeah, I didn't even know about that. I didn't know about the gore stuff. I looked into the situation. I missed that. Because there was just so much.
Chat logs were controversial as Nathan's character came into question, with people alleging that many of his claims were false. Regardless, the chat logs were real, as were the many inappropriate things Ava shared with minors on there.
I always say this, Discord and Twitter are some of the biggest reasons why YouTubers and just content creators overall get exposed. Because of their server or because of, Twitter interactions, they have mental crash.
Just have rules, man. And just actually have a community of cool things happening with cool people instead of the degenerate shit.
Shouts and stuff. That is why I don't have a Twitter. That is why I don't have a Discord. If you look back at the history,
I have both of those things, but I use it correctly.
Of so many people's downfalls, it all started because of Twitter. They couldn't stop tweeting or they couldn't stop being freaks on Discord. These messages were insane.
But when it comes to Sunny V2, many people agree that he was right about Mr. Beast. The man predicted the future, got bashed by everyone online. He didn't apologize. Then a year later, he came out on top. As in his original video, this was the solution Sunny provided Jimmy for the Ava issue.
The only clean solution should things go south might be for Chris to resign himself, and even then rumors and bad press will be unavoidable.
Which is quite scary in how close to reality Sunny's prediction hit. However, much of the hate that was directed towards Sunny turned out to be entirely baseless to begin with, as no one really talked about how Ava's transition would affect Mr. Beast's audience. Rather, everyone piled around with pitchforks looking to cancel Sunny for even having an opinion, but they couldn't cancel him because Sunny never responded. Speaks facts, gets called a madman, refuses to apologize, wins. And over time, as Mr. Beast has successfully phased Ava out of his...
Yeah, don't fucking apologize. Be a man. Take it on the chin and ride it out.
His channel, many people have expressed their delight at the...
out in a blaze of glory.
Decision.
I can now watch a Mr. Beast video in peace now.
Real. At the time, I used to watch Mr. Beast. It was a hard watch anytime Ava, Chris Tyson show up on screen. Like, I would legitimately just turn that shit off. I'll be like, okay, I'm not.
Yep, that's how I was. I was watching Mr. Beast, like, at the beginning of COVID. The Ava Tyson stuff happened, and I was out.
I accidentally pressed 1. The house is like goodness. Where's your mannequin? Bathtub?
This blimp crashes and I die. You guys could just use ZipRecruiter to find a new job. That'll make it so much easier. Thanks,
I don't
man.
like this conversation. so nervous.
Now, honestly, shout out to Sunny V2. He's a real gangster. He's a real gangster for not backing down. And here's the thing, guys. I'll let you guys in into a little secret. No one could cancel you in the Big 26, all right? Well, truth be told, it never worked. The only person...
Even if you do bad shit, even if you do actual cancelable shit, it doesn't work anymore. It just makes you stronger. You can do things like support terrorism openly. The president can even mention that you support terrorism, and still nothing happens.
If you cancel yourself, it's you. It's if you stop uploading, it's if you give up, or it's if you start addressing everyone and responding to every single little thing that people are saying about you online. Once you know this little life hack, legitimately, the only person that could stop you is you. I respect Sunny for not backing down. He got hate from everyone. Years later, it turned out he was right. I gotta respect that. I want to be like Sunny V2 when I grow up.
Everyone has changed their perception about Jimmy, who was once a role model for every aspiring content creator, but has now become a corporate sellout in the eyes of many people. Even though all this could have still happened regardless.
Not in the eyes of so many people. It actually happened.
Of the Ava Tyson.
It was really evident when he started working with places like Amazon.
Drama. It just goes to show that Sunny V2 was in fact right about Mr. Beast.
I do remember at some point it became super popular to hate on Sunny V2, and I get it, you know, trends happen, people jump on the bandwagon, and now everyone hates you.
Nah, fuck that. I was on board with Sunny V2 the whole time.
Just a day
I have so many Sunny V2 reactions. Dude, I miss it.
ago they were your fans. Now because some idiots made a video on you, now everyone hates you. I get it, that's the internet. I'm sure there's things you could criticize him for. I'm not saying that every single video he ever made was cinema or perfect, but in my opinion, I think he did more good than bad. Now, once again, am I saying that he was the greatest YouTuber of all time? No. But I think he was overhated. And I don't know where Sunny V2 is, but I hope he's doing well and, you know, he made bank out of this. I'm sure he's laughing at all the people that were hating on him. It's one thing to be critical and be like, well, I don't agree with this Sunny and I don't agree with this Sunny, but it's a whole different thing to just hate on the guy because he was transphobic over a helicopter joke, because he called out Ava Chris Tyson and what trouble it could bring to the Mr. Beast company. He was just sharing his opinion, and that's something that we all do, and if you like it, that's great, and if you don't, well, there's like a million other channels that you could go and watch. But yeah, W Sunny V2, look how the tables have turned.
Massive day for the unemployed. The Dean Withers files just dropped and oh boy, this
everybody was talking about
storm.
this.
Just in, White Dudes for Harris co-founder and DNC TikTok darling Dean Withers is being accused of sexual assault by multiple men who claim he took advantage of them when they were underage.
You're gay!
Yo, that's crazy.
Don't know who this dude is? Lucky you. Basically, he's one of these political commentators who's best known for getting Charlie Kirked.
Welcome in, do you support Trump?
We are Charlie Kirk.
Pretty impressive vocals, but those are now two bands back to back.
Are you going to tell me that yet another...
Didn't an emo chick sing about how she wants somebody to Charlie Kirk Dean Withers? That's fucking crazy. Yeah, let's not do that.
Male feminist turns out to be a pervert? Believe victims from Pokemon. I would feel bad, but Dean and people like him have spent years intentionally misrepresenting and misunderstanding things. I hate to say it, but I'm actually glad this is happening. Leftists are finally facing the same reputation destruction they used to control discourse for years.
And we said it would happen. We said it. We called it the whole time. Guess what?
And then
Suffer, bitch.
Asmongold's Frogan. So we believing victims this time at Dean. Dean Withers faces unverified assault claims from a fake account. Withers calls the accusation baseless, tracing them to a fake Emily profile that stole photos from an Australian minor who has disavowed the posts, and the account vanished after scrutiny. Right-wing Twitter has decided to peddle a false allegation against me all over the timeline, and he posts a video of the girl's explanation.
Saying that someone's impersonating me and using my photos to accuse someone.
I thought we were supposed to believe all women. Are we not believing all women? Are we done with that?
Dean Withers of assault. This was the picture someone put in my TikTok comments, and this was the picture I posted on Instagram. Same with here, this was posted in July, and now I find this 4 days ago on TikTok. On this photo, you can see there's a little scribble at the top of the screen. This is because, as you can see in the next photo, that's where the lyrics were in my Instagram.
This doesn't even need to be said, but using a minor to spread fake allegations is a f***ed up thing to do, and it's terrible. And I think a lot of people were willing to overlook this fact because they don't like Dean Withers. But
yeah, I kind of don't. I don't give a shit.
The reason why a lot of people were rejoicing over this,
because you know what?
Soulful bitch! Because Dean Withers allegedly has accused other people without any evidence himself. Asmongold's Frogan again. Out of respect for Dean, we should believe all victims without evidence, as this is exactly what he tells us to do.
You work with kids. How do you feel about Donald Trump admitting exploiting naked women and kids on Howard Stern's radio show in 2005, and being credibly accused in the Epstein file of doing things to a kid?
And you're accused too. So what does that have to do with anything?
What? Why would you say that?
You're getting.
He was like real defeated over this. He was tearing up. He was sad, man. Like I kind of feel bad for the kid. Just
yeah, gay.
What I'd say if I had empathy, because holy moly, I don't care.
Okay, because guess what? It's not a f***ing vape. It's an anxiety pin.
Again, this kid's a clown, but this is too far. That doesn't even really need to be said.
From you guys to please report any videos you see with my pictures in it, and please note that I am a minor and I gave nobody permission to use my photos online for these.
And of course, in true TikTok,
we shouldn't be letting minors just be posting photos.
Brain fashion, he made a response in the short form content, so let's give it a watch.
This is the most serious video I've ever made. A Trump supporter stole the identity of an innocent 13-year-old girl to falsely accuse me of with supporting evident poorly botched fake DMs in an attempt to illegitimately deplatform.
Again, I'm not even American. I don't care. Left wing, right wing, they're both on the same bird. For legal reasons, that's a joke. Regardless of your politics, everybody can agree that using a real minor in this case is terrible and cringe.
As we speak, not all, but millions of Republicans across the internet have continued to knowingly peddle this false allegation and could what only be described as an attempt to get me or to get me to self, leading to the police calling me, informing me of a bomb threat.
Yo, I wonder what he thinks about the whole Charlie Kirk situation.
Yo, this escalated quickly, Jesus. The internet is making this—
Yeah, he's pulling the quartering. My life is in danger, you monsters. Stop saying mean things about me online.
This dude out to be the boy who cried wolf, because now they're like, damn, Dean, now you know how these allegations feel and how life-ruining they can be.
Let's unpack this. First and foremost, this TikTok account under the name of Emily accused me of— They posted this fake DM to prove their allegation. The account posted 2 screenshots of the same fake DMs, for the purpose being that in the second screenshot, they're scrolled further down the page to also include my response. We know that they're fake because in the—
I don't believe them. Seems real to me.
First screenshot above their message, there is an included date and time. The only explanation for this inconsistency is that the screenshots are— The account also claimed to be a young girl posting many photos such as these to make their allegations seem more believable. This girl is not accusing me of— She had her identity stolen by this account. She made a video to clear this.
Kinda remind me of the video Walter made.
Yeah, I bet that he paid her to make an AI-generated video, because that's just something that leftoids do. I don't believe him.
Even in light of the fact that this allegation is obviously fake, not only hurting me as the victim of them, but also the innocent little girl whose identity was stolen to make them, many Trump supporters haven't cared. MAGA influencers like the older millennial Asmongold and thousands of others have continued to peddle these false allegations across social media so hard to the point that for the last 48 hours—
Like, I'm not even MAGA. Like, it's insane.
Straight, this has been a top news story on Twitter.
Irony of you crying about false accusations while you put my screenshot up accusing me of saying you did it. The screenshot of my post specifically says you were accused, which you were.
Oh my god, he put Tectone over retard. That's great.
Also, blocking out the word and we have chat screenshots of you used to drop the N-word. Hilarious. Oh, brother.
Amassing over 50,000 posts of mostly Republicans calling me a racist. For those, some even on the right, that have made videos—
How do you know they're Republicans? How do you know? Did you individually check their profiles and their bio says they're Republicans? Or is just everybody who's giving you hate automatically a Republican? Because let me tell you, I hate you, and I'm not a Republican.
Condemning these false allegations. Thank you. You know who you—
He needs to take a hit of that anxiety pad, dude. Stop. Dean is guilty. Believe the woman no matter what. Dean. Like, you might not like what this guy says, but like contacting his local police force is very cringe.
Hey, I'm getting transferred over to the office.
Once again, I don't feel bad for him, and another, arrest the people that are doing that. That's fucking insane.
Right now.
It's an old Chinese saying, you know, 2 wrongs don't make a white. Wait, you don't like fake allegations now? Okay, do calling Trump a pile. Welcome to Karma, Dean. It's not about me. It's about you guys fully endorsing stealing the identity of a minor to peddle false allegations against an influential man. She's been getting harassed and attacked in the name of your war of payback on the left. Even though he's sort of dodging the guy's question, he does have a point. And albeit, while I haven't seen anybody endorsing the behavior of the dude who made that, and again, that's the thing, I feel like it doesn't need to be said. I think everyone's on the same page that a dude who's
Yep, that's why nobody's saying that. Because it doesn't need to be said.
Literally stealing the identity of a minor to peddle false allegations is a piece of shit. Like, this isn't a mystery. And again, people like Asmongold aren't endorsing this behavior. They're just saying, Dean, you're known to obfuscate things. Dean gets emotional after arguing with someone about the allegations.
Wrong. I proved it wrong by showing that the DMs were fake. You.
And listen, it can
No. Did I show? Shut up.
Oh, he's getting real felted, buddy. He's getting real emotional. Don't do that. You can't get emotional, buddy. You can't do that.
Did I show that the DMs were fake?
Give me a little anxiety pen, all right?
Answer the question. Yes, I am. I am getting loud.
Anxiety pen comments are crazy.
In telling me that I vape, Cody, I need you to hear me when I say this. I don't vape. You are accusing a victim of domestic violence of somebody after I've proven that they're completely fake.
He's got to throw in that virtue signal. That's why nobody likes you, bro. You don't even realize how retarded and insane you are. Because you think you're the greatest. Just so fucking narcissistic. I hate these people, man. I hate them. Deport them.
Right? You're a victim because you're on the receipt.
Like onions, there are layers to this shit.
Keep running from.
Why would you do this? Welcome in. Do you support Trump?
Yo, you're.
Fuck yeah.
All right, that's it for the night. Peace, love, goodbye.
Why are we still here?
What a pussy.
You're gay! Just to suffer.
Dean Withers having a false sexual assault allegation made against him does not mean that you should not believe victims moving forward. The Believe All Victims movement does not mean that you have to believe people who are clearly lying.
But again, this is TikTok.
Yeah, we know.
Cuckoo land. In the real world, it's innocent until proven guilty. And while you should believe victims, as in, take allegations seriously, but you should also at the same time support a fair investigation and don't abandon all reasoning, context, and evidence.
If it shows up on social media, I take nothing seriously. Settle it in court, and we'll talk after. Until then, it's all memes, baby.
They're trying their best. They're trying their best. They're really trying their best.
He is clearly visibly bothered by this, and he's essentially feeding the trolls, which is why they're gonna keep pushing. Story time! Back in the day, someone on Twitter accused me of They said that I'm a landlord and I'm exploiting my tenant for and all I said was, news to me, I'm a landlord. Maybe I'm straight up a sociopath, but the allegations were so obvious.
Dude, I can't wait until I'm famous enough to get allegations thrown against me, because I ain't done shit my entire life.
Honestly, fake, I doubt anybody who watches this dude took them seriously and changed their opinion on him. Like, he was better off just saying, you got me. Subscribe if you hit your anxiety pen every single day and it's not a vape. But unfortunately, we ran out of time for today's video.
Oh no! That's all we got. Suffer, Dean.
Suffer, bish!
I'm about to move on over to the next portion of the show. Be sure to subscribe. And don't forget to be leaving comments. Join the Crimson Mountain, link down below. Up next, we have the Ghosts of Gaming.
One more token in my hand, but the cabinet won't last. The screen keeps chewing names with a hungry static grin. You left your mark in ash, then the whole place caved back in. Hear the hum in the walls, hear the buckle of time. Every wind turns in, a right off time.
You know,
Oh, yeah. I kind of missed this whole situation. I took a little break, and then all of this, the leaks started happening. So here we are. I got 3 videos lined up from Mutahar that I'm going to be checking out, because I want to know everything.
you know, I can't believe it, boys. We got like probably the 15th leak on a GTA 6 release before the game is out. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I like covering these leaks because at the end of the day, unless something is like actually pretty damningly good, I like to cover it. There's been a lot of clickbait and bullshit about this game, and if you notice, when I make a video about GTA or whatever, it's usually something that is actually meaningful and not like the 40th, like the other day, there was literally people freaking out because I guess they added like a trunk closing sound effect, and I'm like, guys, I think we've reached Arkham Asylum levels of fucking insanity with this community. But actually, today something crazy happened. So today we are looking at a
It's
group
still
known
happening.
as CyberLeak. Now, apparently, this is the hacker group.
Even after the 3 videos I'm about to do, there's still going to be more, because it's still happening. He released a video, and then more stuff happened.
Group that has apparently been leaking Grand Theft Auto 6 Video 1, the full map basketball video, sneak peeks. I don't know why you would give me a sneak peek when, you know, at the end of the day, you just gave me the whole ass thing. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, to give you an idea, these leaks have apparently been pretty damn legitimate. Now, how do we know they're pretty legitimate? Well, there's been a lot of leaked crap on Rockstar.
Yeah, Rockstar is going after him, right?
Rockstar stuff. For instance, in the last several months, one of the most annoying things is accounts like this releasing footage where it's clearly AI slopped footage of Grand Theft Auto. You know, the main character running up. I don't know if it's a Ubisoft game where the vehicle reverses in. Somehow a real-life car brand, a Ferrari, has shown up. And the fact that we're playing a Ubisoft game where I see the triangle prompt 2 times on top of a vehicle telling me to get the fuck in. So again, ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, it's stuff like this where obviously Rockstar could probably shut it down, but they don't. Rockstar doesn't take it down with a DMCA. Their lawyers don't get fucking involved. But in these leaks, ladies and gentlemen, they actually have been removing some of these things. Yeah, the pages don't exist. Now, I was never going to show you the actual video for this kind of stuff, mostly because since
I ain't seen none of it yet.
Rockstar has
I honestly, I don't care. I'm not going to be playing GTA 6, at least not when it comes out. Maybe a few years down the road, I'll try just the story. I'm not too much of an online gamer.
This shit, it's probably like fucking legit at this point, okay? Like this person has been releasing a real set of footage. Now, I do have the video right over here present on my system. So for instance, I did download these leaks. Yes, I watched them. I will talk about what's in them because I don't think that violates the law, but actually
I don't really care to see them. I just want to know the juicy details.
Pulled some information off of these leaks using a local model, and I actually ascertained that these videos were encoded all the way back in 2023. Now, that's not when they were recorded. That's when they were just captured, right? So again, these are definitely older videos. Like, if this is a fake leak, all right, a lot of effort has been put into it. Now, to go to the actual hackers in this case, this is where it kind of like intersects with some of the stuff that I've been talking about. So CyberLeak, the organization right over here releasing all of this extra stuff, which they're just doing like every hour. I think we're actually going to get a lot more, you know, throughout this case. But if you go to the About section, they have an edict. CyberLeak was born in the networks. It has seen what gaming can be at its best, and it has watched what the industry did to it slowly, methodically, one monetization scheme at a time.
Fucking based. This is what we call an anti-hero, ladies and gentlemen. Or an anti-hero group. I don't know if it's more than one person.
Publishers sell licenses and call them purchases. They ship unfinished games and call them living services. They lock content on discs and call it DLC. They kill games and keep the money. Every year, anti-consumerism tightens its grip, and every year, gamers get less for what...
Yeah, I agree.
They pay for. To fight this war, CyberLeak is raising funds for a secret project. So they're not going to reveal it yet.
Yeah, they're gonna have to be competing with free because they built this system, you know.
Okay, it's not a cash grab. It's needed for the infrastructure needed to strike, as well as the security and protection required to withstand the corporate counterattacks. So yeah, this is an organization.
If everything was physical and not digital, existing on the internet, then, you know, shit like this wouldn't be happening.
That has a crypto coin attached to it, which obviously, you know, let's be real with you over here. Anything like this, one of those situations where throw money in, they're going to exit with the money, and you will have nothing. So please do not actually be doing this. Unfortunately, in this case, it seems like there have been a lot of buys. By releasing this GTA leaked footage, you can see people putting in buy orders of like $100, $7, $5, $19. So yeah, I guess... I guess there is a financial incentive in this, and it does seem to be working. So I want to, before we read more into their manifesto, I'm going to look at one of their map leaks. Now, again, I don't think this would violate, like, you know, like a DMCA thing, but from what I understand, if this is real, Rockstar could, in theory, probably shut this video down. And I guess if they do that, then ultimately, at the end of the day, you know, fuck. I guess it's real, which they have not been shutting down some of these map leaks. If they do, the video section you're watching right here will obviously be blurred, and I'll probably cut it down at this point, okay? Because again, if this turns out to be real, the last...
Yeah, it turns out it's real.
Thing I want to invoke on me is like a fucking Rockstar lawyer slitting my throat, okay? Like full jihadi style. But again...
Yeah, just getting them through that giant open window right next to him.
One thing that I've seen in these map leaks is there's a lot of points that showcase, obviously, there's, I guess, tons of stores, and it doesn't look to be AI generated in the sense that the road, logic starts to make a lot of sense. Like, you can zoom into small places where AI would typically fuck up, and it doesn't seem like those fuck ups are happening. The downside of this map leak is it seems like the other cities in the game, aside from Vice City, are actually considerably smaller sections of the game. And in fact, they're so small, they might as well be like Paleto Bay from GTA 5, which is a pretty big like kick in the balls for me, because ultimately at the end of the day, I wish this game, since it's a state now that we're going to Leonida, you know, Vice City would be the big main city, but there would also be two other cities that I would imagine should have at least been like Los Santos sized, right? I mean, how long have people...
I think they were focusing way too hard on things like pumping gas and cleaning a motorcycle. That's some things that I was seeing. Like, I saw a couple of screenshots of that. I haven't watched any videos. I've only seen, like, clips of, like, screenshots, I mean. I haven't seen any clips. Like, I've seen nothing. That was the only two things that I saw. Is there anything else that I saw? I don't think so. I think that was it.
Waiting for this game, if you're gonna bill it like this, if you're gonna say the state of Leonida, it should be like the state of San Andreas from the PS2, where we had 3 fucking cities and a bunch of in-between areas. What I don't like about this HD stuff is they have one main city, and just generally the rest of it is like pretty, like, you know, rural areas with like not a lot of other, like, there should be other cities for me to run to and commit crimes in Grand Theft fucking Auto. So anyways, going back to the manifesto by these people, they said, Commandment 1, thou shalt not sell digital pre-orders. No consumer shall pay for a game through digital storefronts before release. An independent review. Physical pre-orders for tangible media are permitted. Pre-orders were not created for gamers. They were created because physical discs had manufacturing limits. In digital distribution, there's no inventory, there's no stock shortage. A digital copy cannot sell out. I mean, that's what I've been saying, man. Like, yeah, okay, pre-ordering back in the day, it's still shitty, but like, yeah, I mean, for a game like GTA 5, I pre-ordered it back in the day because I was like, yeah, maybe my, like, fucking, like...
Yeah, pre-ordering in the digital era makes absolutely no sense. If they're gonna cancel physical games, what's the point of pre-ordering?
Maybe my, like, EB Games will run out of copies. At least I secured the bag there. You know, I got the game. So I could come home to my PlayStation 3, put the Blu-ray in, install the game in like 10 minutes, and just play, right? But in the age where we don't even have the disc anymore, who gives a fuck? Just wait like a week before the game releases so you can just download.
But I got the money now. I might as well purchase it. It allows me to purchase. I'm going to purchase it anyway. People are so fucking... They're so dumb.
Download it, like pre-download it, and then play it on midnight. You don't need to buy it like right now. Who gives a shit? They don't give you anything for buying it right now. Yet publishers keep the pre-order system and strip away its only consumer benefit. Absolutely.
I'd rather wait until games are feature complete with all the DLC on sale. Also, I am paying full price for that shit. There are so many games, and I'm more of a retro and indie gamer anyway, so I just really don't give a shit. I'm okay with missing out on games, because they're not the games that I'm playing. I'm probably going to buy Resident Evil whatever comes next, But I ain't buying it day one. I might, actually. It depends on how good it is. Maybe day two. Maybe week one I buy it. I ain't pre-ordering that shit.
If publishers want revenue before launch, they can press discs, print boxes, put them on shelves. Well, they do print boxes, just those boxes have codes in it now. Commandment 2, thou shalt not sell fake single-player DLC. No publishers to sell access to single-player content already presented in the base game files the consumer purchase. Means no unlock keys, no 1 megabyte placeholder files, no toggling a variable from lock to unlock for content already on the disc or in the download. Which I guess they're talking about the Ultimate Edition, which obviously, as we all know, comes with all this extra content, which absolutely exists on the base game. It's just, unless you decided to pay Rockstar money, this 95 Grody Cheetah will not spawn in your save file unless you gave them the extra $20, which it seems like gamers have majority of the people pre-ordering this have absolutely put in the extra $20. So,
and you know they're just gonna make it available later. That's what they did with GTA 5 with its pre-order bonus. They just made it available later. And there's gonna be way cooler shit. Like, why? It's like exclusive Pokemon card, I guess. It's like, I gotta do it for the exclusive Pokemon card.
Again, I don't know how effective the gamer is in that case, right? Commandment 3, thou shalt preserve single-player content. Any game featuring single-player content.
Except it's not even like a Pokemon card, because this shit's digital.
Content must include an offline fallback state. When server support ends, the publisher must release a full patch that unlocks all single-player content for local indefinite play.
I wonder what's going to happen with GTA 5. Are they going to allow it to still be purchased and played online, or are people going to have to figure that shit out themselves? I guarantee you they're going to shut it down eventually. They have to. There's no way. And then what's going to happen? Is just GTA Online gone forever?
The Crew had single-player campaigns. People paid full price. Then Ubisoft shut this down. And then the final word. These 3 commandments are the floor, not the ceiling, of what is acceptable. If publishers violate them, they will be targeted. CyberLeak will continue to disrupt their operation until they issue a public statement and apology with a concrete commitment to fix the harm they caused. Now,
yeah, that ain't happening. So we're just going to be watching this battle commence forever.
Now, here's the thing. If this is all true, and the footage that I've seen. So let me talk a little bit about there's 2 clips that exist so far. One of the clips is of Jason.
Oh, there's way more than that now.
At the home that was shown in trailer 2, and he basically jumps down, and it looks very close to the physics engine of Red Dead Redemption. Very shockingly close, to the point that I thought, did somebody just mod Red Dead 2 with all this content? But that's not the case. The surrounding visuals matched closely to what we've seen in the trailer. Like, even the areas that we saw from the overlooking shot in trailer 2, you know, a lot of that surrounding area that you wouldn't have seen feels logically filled in, and it doesn't seem like bullshit. Jason can pick up a basketball and, you know, throw it around. The second clip is more of the substance, so basically you're driving around, and, you know, eventually Jason impacts his car with, like, a delivery vehicle. The delivery guy gets out San Andreas style, you know, when you piss off an NPC and they're like, I gotta fucking pick a fight with you. You get out of the car, start beating the shit out of them. There's, like, a health meter, a stamina gauge. And what's interesting is there's like an honor system, so like a negative emoji kept popping up every time you like fucking smacked the dead guy, which I thought was kind of real. Like, I thought this is where it was getting into like the fake territory, because I was like, oh, are they really just copying all the UI shit from Red Dead 2? So eventually the cops show up, and, you know, he gets a 2-star wanted rating.
I'm pretty sure they started working on Red Dead 2 and GTA 6 at the same time.
He gets into his vehicle, which every vehicle now gives you like the name and like the year that it was manufactured. So in this case, it was the 70s Vapid Ganado. And underneath it, there was like an engine like core health bar from like, you know, the same style Red Dead 2 has. And then a gas bar. So I don't know if fueling your car is a thing. Would be interesting. I'm personally not against it. The game also, underneath the wanted stars, had like 3 icons. So there was an icon of a coat hanger. So obviously saying that the cops recognize your clothing, you better change your clothes. If you don't want the cops to catch you, they had the vehicle, so the cops recognized the car that I was escaping in. And I think it was like the face as well. So I think that's like a slight push that if you are caught by the cops, switch off to another character, cool it down for a little bit. Now here's the thing, right? I am not like opposed to the game having more realistic views, like realistic simulations. I think that's what I want from GTA 6. For anybody that, you know, has...
Is there going to be too much? Is it going to be basically bloated with a bunch of, hey, isn't this cool? Like Red Dead 2? I didn't like Red Dead 2 as much as Red Dead 1. Especially right there at the beginning. It takes so long in the snowy area. That's always my complaint whenever I try and go back to it. I'm like, man, I just want to get to the actual game. Is that what this is going to be like? A whole bunch of bullshit? Whole bunch of little mini stuff that you can do and no substance to the actual game? Oh, man. Well, I guess we'll find out.
Play GTA games. GTA 4 is when they allowed you to escape cops without hitting a pay and spray above the 1-star wanted rating. So you could escape the radius, chill for a few seconds, and the cops would lose you. GTA 5, you also escape the radius, but you wait longer in relation to your character's stealth rating, and then that would just, you would cool down and then escape that way. I hope GTA 6 has like kind of a memory thing where even if you escape like a cop chase, just driving the same car, wearing the same clothes is enough for like the vice cops to like look around and say, hey, that's the guy that we were looking at. That would be...
Yeah, it's like a better system of the heat system from Need for Speed.
Cool realism that I would be okay with, like changing my clothes, which has been a thing in GTA since like Vice fucking City, enough to also lose your wanted rating. And then of course, I want all these systems to kind of be in the game. So obviously there was like a bit of the radio that we heard. So again, this leak that I was seeing, even the vehicles on the road, and I'm very eagle-eyed, they were exact like matches for the same parody car brands in the GTA universe. So point is, if what we saw was fake, and I don't think it is fake because if it was, Rockstar I don't think would be issuing all these DMCAs. But even if it was fake, it's such a well done fake that I think the community's having a fun time thinking, oh my god, what the
Oh yeah, that's why I'm talking about it, because this shit is just fun to me. I love it. I love that this is happening.
fuck? Now here's the thing, if Cyber...
Because you know what, guess what?
Self-bish!
And that's how I feel about it.
Leak has actually hacked into like Rockstar, and I think this is obviously a breach of Rockstar servers. Maybe a location got hacked, files ended up getting grabbed. What I'm kind of wondering, and again, this is the worst case scenario in my head. I could imagine that in the days, and there's only 9 days until we see like more of this game on Netflix, I imagine just for the hell of it, and I guess I'll be keeping a close eye to the ground, obviously, because I'm a fucking fan of GTA and I like this shit. I'll be watching and seeing if these guys release more, because ultimately, I really don't give a fuck about like what Rockstar's...
Oh boy, I just had a random thought. Whenever this game comes out, it's gonna be fucking crazy. There's gonna be hackers trying to actually hack Rockstar themselves. Not just like hackers in the game is ruining your experience. It's gonna get dangerous.
Fifis are in this case.
Like this is the biggest piece of media of all time in history. Worldwide. This shit's gonna be crazy. And I cannot wait.
At the end of the day, I have no investment in Take-Two and Rockstar. Like, I have no stock that I've purchased. GTA is just a game to me. At the end of the day, some of the shitty decisions Take-Two has made to the gamer, I don't mind seeing them have a little bit of kick in the... having a little bit of like... I don't mind seeing egg on their face, is all I'm saying. Now, the map, ultimately, when we go back to it, felt pretty close to what I saw with the actual, like... the Yanis community map, which is like the current community map that people are building for Vice City. So, for instance, based on every leak, people have been putting together, like, obviously all of what they think Vice City is going to be. So I'm interested to see what, Rockstar ends up, like, releasing. The leaked map looks pretty close to this, with obviously a lot more of this dead area filled in. And from what it looks like, it seems pretty fucking accurate. And honestly, at the end of the day, I'm just interested to see how things kind of go from here, right? The worst case scenario, and again, remember, this is the worst case scenario. Remember, crypto groups did not hack Rockstar the first time. The first time, well, this wasn't a Rockstar hack, but if you remember back when the first trailer was coming out, the leak happened where somebody slapped in like buy BTC. So obviously there's an incentive for hacker groups to like come in, promote whatever token they have or just the ecosystem and profit off of the hype that surrounds GTA. But if CyberLeak is pretty serious about punishing Rockstar, I think the worst punishment is if somehow, somewhere, Rockstar Games CyberLeak decides to leak like a 2022, 2023 build of the game that people can download and run on their systems.
Oh boy.
Would be fucking... and somehow, I don't doubt
that would break all of the models that they have ever built. Oh man, I hope it happens. You're damn right I'm going to be downloading that shit. I mean, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Don't tell Rockstar. No, I'm definitely downloading that shit, though. Why wouldn't I?
See GTA 6 leaked before in
On PC?
like the actual game being leaked.
And I'm pretty sure dude's playing it on PC. Whoever's leaking it.
Or the actual, like, you know, it's happened in the past before. I remember Watch Dogs ended up getting leaked a little bit. Half-Life 2 famously was one of those games that also got leaked, and its hype levels are probably, you know, comparatively at the same level as what GTA 6. So, again, wild fucking shit, man. You know, when the army is using GTA 6 allegedly as a recruitment mechanisms to re-enlist in, you know, the hype for a game...
It better not be gay.
...is pretty serious. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm just here...
If it's gay, it ain't gonna work.
Here for it, man. I'm here for the shit show. Good, bad. I'm just watching from my little corner of the internet. Ladies and gentlemen,
let's fucking
if you
go.
Like what you saw, please like.
Yeah, next video.
Hello, guys and gals. Me, Mutahar, and boy, I think things are getting nuclear. Now, yesterday I talked about Grand Theft Auto 6 getting leaked. Ladies and gentlemen, today the hacker is continuing to leak even more footage than I thought
Hell
before.
yeah, they
now,
are.
Look, I normally wouldn't, like, here's the thing.
Let's fucking go.
This is kind of weird for me to cover because I want to start off by saying I don't endorse a hacker breaking into servers, stealing, you know, a video game that is this, stealing anything in general and just releasing it online, okay? Look, I'm just somebody that's here to talk about something that I find interesting. Now, obviously, this...
And by him saying that, he loves this shit. And so do I.
This has gotten even more interesting since yesterday, and I'll explain how. So,
Oh boy, I love it.
Soulful Bish!
Hell yeah.
Yesterday, we kind of looked at like 2 clips of this game. Well, really, I think it was, well, 2 clips. And both those clips, people are kind of wondering, oh man, is it artificial intelligence? Now, the reality is, if you know anything about AI stuff, usually AI clips are pretty much easy to tell. Like 15-second clips usually sometimes are cut together. These clips that were released yesterday of GTA 6, the leaked build of it showed that there was at least coherence to the world, meaning that this guy was flipping the camera around. Things weren't popping in and out of place, as we've seen in AI-generated, even AI-generated games as well that I've played on my channel. You know, you could look at AI-generated Minecraft, for instance, and just flick your face around, and the character will constantly be bumping in and out because it's just trying to make the next frame make sense. Here, you could clearly see a rendered world. You could actually see...
Yeah, I've tried some of those Minecraft games. I've tried a whole bunch of AI games. They're just not there yet. I mean, I think we should be able to generate things for a game. You just can't play a game that is running an AI model trying to generate a game. Yet.
UI elements, you could see elements from prior Rockstar games like Red Dead 2 sort of bleed its way into the leaked footage, right? The way that the main characters jumped, the physics associated with it, made sense. So, guess what happened today, ladies and gentlemen? You wake up, the hacker basically revealed last night that they were going to release some more content early in the day. So it seems like, you know, the day came, everyone was like, the hacker's fucking around. Well, they released more footage. Now, apparently on the dark web, on a forum known as Dread, apparently this hacker was sitting around leaking footage on the dark web, but I guess nobody was really there to, like, listen to it. Ultimately, the end, this showed up on their website, and boom, it was more footage to see. Now, what does the new footage kind of showcase? Well, it may actually be from at least 2025. So we're getting into like recent territory. So basically in the game, if you ever play GTA, you get into a car, you can hear a radio station, right? Well, apparently the song that was playing was like a Tate McRae song called Sports Car that was released in 2025. So again, if that song is in the game's radio at that time in the build, it's probably after the release date of that song, you know?
Dude, if they release a 2025 full build, oh, Rockstar's cooked.
Ultimately, at the end of the day, this puts the actual build closer to what we have. Now, Grand Theft Auto, when I first talked about these leaks, like...
I don't think they're going to make enough money anyway, at least not for a long time.
Well, not these leaks, but all the ones back in 2022, a lot of those leaks kind of had debug footage associated, or at least like debug codes or consoles like that were actually available. You know, things that would show you... You know, the things that would show you debug information as you played the video game, right? There would be like a strip at the bottom that would tell you the specs of your machine and, of course, what was going on in the edges. This new footage that's leaked doesn't actually have any of that. In fact, it actually looks pretty damn good, even though the actual quality obviously isn't, you know, 4K, HDR, anything of that nature. Now, before anybody goes in and says, oh, but the game looks just like GTA 5, I mean, I'm going to be completely fucking upfront with you guys. I don't know what anybody was expecting this game to do. It is a game where you steal cars and you shoot people and you get in chases with the cops.
And they started working on this game not long after GTA 5 really took off, like with GTA Online. Like, probably right after GTA Online became complete. I think that's when they started working on it.
If it has any three of those things, I'm a satiated boy, okay? Now, ultimately, from my analysis on everything that I've seen, the visuals genuinely do look better. There's aspects of ray tracing that look pretty impressive for even running on a console, or at least targeted to a console. There's aspects of the game's simulation that I find pretty impressive. Yesterday, I talked about when the main character got into a police chase, cops now start to identify your clothing, who you are, your vehicle, all of that stuff. There's fuel systems, there's, limited inventory spaces. All of these things kind of feel like Rockstar looked at like Deus Ex, or like they looked at a lot of these like immersive sim games and they realized, hey, you know what? How do we apply some of those things and make the world living and breathing? It feels like a game with that level of thought almost, or that level of simulation.
You know, I've never played the new Deus Ex games. I've only played the very first Deus Ex. I think I should probably check them out. The only reason that I didn't is because I hear that it just didn't have an ending, and the ending got canceled. So I just never checked it out. Is it even worth it?
Applied across an entire world. Now, it also feels a lot like Red Dead Redemption 2, except in the modern day. So regardless of how you feel on that, I'm personally okay. I find that shit pretty cool. I'm sure that there's
Yeah, it's whatever, man.
some people that are like, fuck, man, I actually have to fill up gas? I actually have to goddamn, think about what weapons to bring? Fuck that, you know? People just want, rocket launchers and chain guns they can pull out of their asses, and I understand it. There's a whole wide variety, okay? There's, casual GTA fans since the top-down era. There's people since the GTA 3 era that had everything available, and then there's, us that are going into, that modern era. I mean, I've lived through all of it, so...
GTA 4 is still the best. I don't think GTA 6 is going to top it for me. I don't think it can.
I genuinely enjoy what I've seen. Now, in one of the most recent clips...
I think GTA 4 became a hit for me by accident. I don't think that people realize how good that game still is.
That kind of came out. Obviously, they showed more of the police chases, so cops are now able to track you. After you've already lost them, they'll still be searching for you, and that's where you have to change your clothes. You have to, fucking change your car. It seems like some police vehicles have, built-in trackers, so if you steal a cop car and you think you got away, they can just low jack that shit. There's even aspects where they kind of focus on things like flipper zeros, this might actually be, a portion of the gameplay where, if you're trying to steal, an Infernus or, something super...
What is that, Watch Dogs?
Super high-end, you probably need to have access to, a flipper.
They're just taking all of the GTA clones and mashing them all together. Honestly, I want a Sleeping Dogs 2, or a game like Sleeping Dogs that takes place in America. I don't want something as big as GTA 6. I mean, it's fine, it's whatever. But I really want some smaller GTA clones again. What happened? Why can't we have these? Did Saints Row kill them all? Is that what happened?
Or I guess they'll call it fucking dorsal or some shit in the universe. And as long as you have one of these, you should be able to hack into the high-end cars, right, and steal them. So it seems like there's a lot of thought and there's a lot of elevation into each aspect of the gameplay, which I think is pretty interesting. So overall, look, I'm a GTA fan. This is a game that eventually I will play. And unfortunately, the only thing that's kind of holding the thing back for me is obviously the lack of physical media. Now, yesterday when we talked about this cyber leak guy, these hackers, they used the stop killing...
I don't even care about physical media. I only care about DRM rights. I want things to be DRM free. I want to be able to move the files around, make my own physical copies. I want to be able to buy custom-made physical copies from places. Wouldn't that be cool?
Games movement is sort of like I guess you could say, a crutch to sort of hold up their reasoning. But remember, at the end of the day, these guys are nothing more than, you know, crypto guys. So at the end of the day, when you look into their actual project, one thing that is pretty obvious is these people are making a fair bit of money, it seems, off of this crypto, or at least this is effectively one of the more important aspects. Now, yesterday we briefly touched upon this, but to give you an idea, the growth over here has started all the way from down here, and it's kind of remained steady up here. And if you look at the actual like volume of trades going on, and I've covered crypto for a fair bit, this might be one of the most actively traded cryptos, shitcoins that I've seen right now. So to give you an idea, what are people doing? They're buying actual tokens. So in some cases, 6 minutes ago, this guy bought $116 worth of CyberLeak tokens on the Solana blockchain. Of course, there's also people that are selling certain tokens. So $53 sold right over here, $9 sold here.
Honestly, if you buy any of this shit, you deserve to be rug pulled. Why? Why would you do that?
If you look at some of the highest transactions, literally like 10 minutes ago, some guy bought $1,500 worth of this token. So there's actual money being traded around. The incentive for these hackers is not altruistic in the sense that they really give a fuck about physical media or they really care about Rockstar's apologies. The reality of it is,
I still don't care.
Is that this is a crypto hustle for these people.
It's like Deadpool. He's doing things for the good of humanity, but for selfish reasons.
Now, some could say that this may not be a scam. It's probably more like a donation. Like when you give them crypto money, they siphon it out. And it's kind of more of a donation for, I guess, their efforts. But the reality of it is that this is effectively a very good money-making grift opportunity for the behind this, right? That's kind of where I come into this, right? Obviously,
and most certainly not American. It's probably like some call center in India.
Obviously, I think there's two things that can be true here. Rockstar Games, or rather Take-Two, has been so shitty to the fans recently, and I've covered this, I've talked about it as a fan, that it's almost somewhat difficult to sympathize with the corporate overlord.
Yeah, fuck them.
But also at the same time, the people doing this don't really give a fuck about the Stop Killing Games movement. It's just something that they can use to morally sort of justify the actions that they're doing here. Now, there's been funny instances like CyberLeak, apparently. I can't even confirm if this is the same.
Yeah, it's like watching Godzilla and King Kong fight. It's like, they're still monsters. They're still destroying everything. But they're doing that over there.
Guy, but it'd be funny because they're in the Rockstar Games like actual Discord going twinkle twinkle little leaks, showing off what no one seeks. Vice City glowing in the night, GTA fans chasing every site, twinkle twinkle little leak. Now if that's the real person,
that's pretty good.
Ballsy.
Yeah, that's the energy that I like to see.
Shit. Obviously, I really do feel bad for the developers in this case, mostly because these people that have put over 10 years of their life into making a game. These are not people that...
Yeah, you know what I gotta say to that?
Selfish! You're gay!
That are in this to get, I guess, ultimately the people really making money on this are probably the shareholders, Strauss Zelnick, and all the other chair people that are fucking that don't even play the game to begin with, right?
Yeah,
this
like
is really
Rockstar.
a passion project from a lot of people that have basically put together one of the best long-running franchises, something that I hold near and dear to my heart.
Long-running? Only because it takes so long for a game to come out.
Now, again, a lot of people have speculated that too, that this guy is related to the Lapsus hackers, the original 2022 hackers, and I can't 100% confirm this whatsoever, but there was talks back in the day in 2022, 2023, when those leaks happened, that there might be a source build, like sort of like source code is sort of floating around on the internet. But this is where things change a little. Obviously, look, Take-Two, you might be like, well, they're going to send assassins and nuke your house. The reality is they're an entertainment video games company. While they are very protective of leaks, obviously, as we've seen, the moment you start getting into places like the Russian Federation, like this guy could be living in like Karachi, Pakistan for all we know, and nobody would fucking give a nobody is finding him then, okay? This guy is literally taunting them. In one of his leaked footage, he had like an actual cutscene, like portions of a cutscene play, where one of the characters, Cal, goes, "It's okay, I'm behind a VPN." So he's kind of like actually taunting Rockstar Games, Take-Two with this shit. Now again, notice what I just said, cutscene, which is what makes this really devastatingly scary.
And it really just begs the question, what have you become? You have become the thing that you parodied this whole time. They really should be leaning into these leaks instead of trying to take them down. There are ways they could do it, and it would be hilarious and great marketing if they just owned it, but they don't know how to do that because they're corporate freaks.
It seems like the footage that we're seeing
it's like we're living inside of a GTA game
today comes from a very, 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 very close to the release build. Not obviously the release build clearly, but it's pretty close. And the thing about it is I don't think this guy is stealing like developer footage that somebody's just sort of recorded. I think, and again, this is speculation from me, I think this guy might have access to a near completed build of the game, if not a completed developer build, which means one of two things, okay? It means either this guy, look, if you wanted to get really conspiratorial, either it means this guy is like connected somewhere in Rockstar and they're just doing this as a way to raise hype, which would be insane.
Or Rockstar is doing it themselves.
Insane, like the dumbest conspiracy theory, even I'll admit that clearly. And obviously, Rockstar has been razor quiet over this. They're not saying a single fucking word, which means they're pretty damn, like, I would say, worried about what comes next.
Or they're doing it themselves. I don't actually believe that, but that would be hilarious. And if it came out that that was a thing they were doing, I would buy it.
This is where, if there is a leaked build of the game, I'm wondering if eventually, and right now, that would be the nuke in this situation. Dropping that nuke, meaning releasing that build to the internet, would be absolutely fucking devastating. The fact that we've seen cutscenes, this guy has access to, it seems, the storyline of, and again, with a leaked build, I'm kind of worried that the final, like, cutscenes, the entire story could effectively be leaked out well before the game actually releases. And if a build does show up on the internet, people can download it and basically play GTA 5, whether it be on a jailbroken PlayStation 5 or, maybe even on a PC, right? Considering the fact that if it's a leaked developer build, it shouldn't be difficult, or at least it may be possible to have it executing on like a Windows environment and you can just play the fucking game start to finish long before it gets released, right?
Oh,
Which would be
it happens.
Completely devastating for Rockstar Games. Like, it would be completely devastating for kind of the community in that way, that are like genuinely anticipating this game.
Yeah, fuck it. Fuck them.
Self-bish! Because I'm sure while this game will sell billions of dollars of, it'll sell tons of copies, no doubt about it. But I think having it leaked early it's still going to be devastating, especially considering the fact that the PC version isn't even announced.
Oh man, I hope it happens more.
And if this game gets leaked onto PC,
More
the
games.
first way people can play it is
More
on PC,
leaks.
that would be insane. The other insane part about it is how poor the game would actually look if it's released. Remember, leaked builds are not 100% complete, or maybe they shouldn't. There's still going to be aspects that are missing. There's still going to be things that are wrong. So if that's the first way...
I would rather play the free developer build than pay however much they're charging for this game. $80? Yeah, no thank you. I'll pay like $5 in a few years.
Somebody chooses to play the game, it's going to be a bad memory. Considering the fact it may work really well in the beginning, but it could just break as time goes on, or certain aspects may not even be integrated into the game. We don't know. But, it's not uncommon. Obviously, if you've been following any of this stuff in video, if you've been following this in video gaming, back in 2023, Insomniac Games had a leak, which leaked out builds of Wolverine early builds that somebody could run on their computer. But there were also cases where Spider-Man 2's assets got so leaked that obviously people from Brazil decided to take the assets from that leak and just fix it up and release it. And in some cases, they actually, unironically, made a better PC port than Sony and Nix's actually did, which is kind of fucking wild. But yeah, that's
because these people were passionate about doing it, and they're just trying to make money.
Happens when a build gets leaked. Half-Life...
Even if they were the people who made, in quotes, the better version, were chasing money, they were still chasing money using Spider-Man 2 instead of literally anything else.
Life 2, one of the most anticipated games of the early 2000s, ended up actually being partially leaked. A build was accessed because a server was left unsecured on Valve's network. And obviously this was grabbed. The individual dealt out the entire source code for the source engine on October 2nd, 2003. Unfinished builds were given out. Obviously, even Gabe Newell had to come out to the community and be like, can you guys just help us track these hackers down? Like, what the fuck? So ultimately, I can imagine that right now at Rockstar, there is full-blown absolute fucking panic because nobody knows. An hour from this video's release, you're watching, there could be a chance that a massive story spoiler comes out. There could be, 10 minutes of raw gameplay that show features that, Rockstar is probably...
By the time I get around to playing it, because I don't pay attention to games that I plan on playing probably, I'm sure there'll be memes of the ending, but I'm not playing it for the ending, honestly. I'll forget all about it, and when I pick it up in a few years, nobody's going to be talking about it. And I can't wait. I can't wait. Yeah, I can. I can wait my entire life. I don't have to play things. I don't have to. I don't have FOMO. People need to fucking chill.
Waiting for their Netflix stream to do. Or, here's an even wilder thing. A fucking 200 gigabyte leaked build could exist on the internet with a torrent file that anybody can grab and download. And that would just be an insane situation. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I don't think it goes, like I said at the beginning, I am not somebody that is for this. Like, I'm here to watch the fireworks, but clearly behind this, at the end of the day, as a GTA fan, Rockstar Games, the developers who have spent, a decade plus of their life building this game, I do genuinely have a lot of, sympathy for them. Because at the end of the day, nobody wants their work to be leaked. Nobody wants this shit to be, given out, especially in a state that is not 100% complete. Or
they're working at a gaming cartel, though, so I don't feel that bad for them. They should be working somewhere else. If they're actually good at their jobs, they wouldn't be working at a corporation. You just got so many people that are good at a little bit of something that you can get them to work for over a fucking decade on it and make it good. But that model is so unsustainable. They're not going to be riding off of GTA 6. They're going to be riding off of GTA Online 2. And how well is that going to do? Obviously, GTA 5 didn't do well enough because they had to shitify it.
Reflective of the final product. So yeah, at the end of the day, I don't think the hackers in this altruistically, absolutely whatsoever. I don't think they give a fuck about the Stop Killing Games movement. I think it's mostly just a crypto grift. And,
I think they probably do. Actually, I think they probably do, at least somewhat. Some people who's got some opinions. I bet overall they don't care. But I bet, they're engaging on social media on their actual accounts that they're not, tying to the job that they're doing. Well, I thought I had 3 videos. I guess I don't. Guess we'll cover the 3rd and probably 4th, 5th, and 6th video in the next couple of videos. Moving on.
Sony is in a state of disaster right now. They are still facing major backlash.
They're always in a state of disaster.
Media. We just heard the announcement that they are going to be overhauling and rebooting Horizon Hunters Gathering after the backlash that they faced, and apparently internal tests went very poorly, and they have bet on the wrong horses consistently.
I wonder what went wrong.
They thought that Marathon was going to be a smashing success for them. It is not, and now we are seeing an all-new player count low, and I do not think that this can survive until the 1-year mark. I have a few different things to show off before I get into the topic. If you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, not every single game needs to have 100,000 players in it to consistently perform well for
they do whenever they spend hundreds of millions of dollars.
Companies. Sometimes, yes, you can have
and sometimes billions of dollars. In Bungie's case,
have a core audience of 15 or 20,000 people, and a game can be deemed successful, especially if it is a paid entry game and you have microtransactions and you're still making money. But that is not happening with Marathon. Nobody's really talking about this game anymore. They bet $300 million plus on this being a success. I personally think that it was like $350 million. And what are the player counts right now? They are the lowest I have seen in the middle of a day.
Holy shit, I'm just seeing that. That's insane. How are they just keeping it? This is like Concord. Which one was this? 3 or 4? We've had some Concords release after this.
Or sometimes in the evening it will drop after peak and then it won't go back up until
Is it gonna be under 1,000?
Around lunchtime the next day.
What's
I
that
understand
now?
that happens with many games because people are sleeping, because people have to go to work, obviously. But in the middle of the day, Marathon is currently at 2,485 players. This is absolute abysmal. And the 24-hour peak is 4,020.
Yeah, as I'm speaking, it's at 1781.
If we go back to the weekend, peak that they had was 4,565. These are the best numbers that they are getting now. And look, I understand that there's some people out there who love
It'll jump up to like 8,000, maybe even 16,000, and people will cheer. They'll act like that's a win. Holy fuck, they're so cooked.
Self-bish!
Marathon who think that it can be saved and you praise the game and play it and purchase microtransactions and take to social media and defend it 100%. Again, I'm not sitting here and trying to get you not to play it. I'm just giving my opinion and letting you know the observations that I have made, and that is that if you have not already...
I'm telling you, don't play it. Don't waste your time. Play something else. That's the problem here. You could just play something else that's better.
Invested in this game, I would highly suggest you don't, because there is no possible way that this is going to be a game that they are going to keep these servers up for.
Yeah, they're shutting it down. Sony's been known to do that.
There is no possible way that they are making enough money to keep this game afloat, because we know that this game's primary platform is PC. So if that is still the case, and we haven't heard about it in months, but if it is still the truth, that means that what? Console has maybe 2,000 people in game per platform. So maybe Xbox has 2,000 people and PlayStation has 2,000 people, and that's it. That would be just the worst case scenario, having under 10,000 people in your game. And the talk about this game on social media hasn't gotten any better.
Who's played this? Who's honestly played Marathon? I don't know anybody who actually played it.
The only people that are
not even for free
positively about it are people that are saying, oh, it's not dead. You all are terrible people for criticizing this game. Like this
I'm not even really seeing people doing that.
Individual. The F you mean death of a game. The effing thing is still alive, for crying out loud. Here's a screenshot of the Marathon subreddit where people are saying, we need more play.
If you go to places like Facebook or Threads, nobody's talking about it. You'll see somebody every once in a while like, I don't see the problem. I think it's fun. But most people that comment, even in the leftoid areas that I'm in, they're like, oh, I just completely forgot this game existed. Or like, holy shit, the servers are still up. And there'll be a lot of people that are like, oh, you're using Steam numbers. I don't think those people are even real. Because they've got to know by now that that's stupid as shit to even say.
And we need to get gamers supporting this title. And don't forget that just a few weeks ago, they tried to bring players back into the game by doing a Marathon Revival Week, saying,
oh, and it did not work.
The game isn't dead, but we all need to come together and support these developers and show those evil chuds
you're gay!
That this game is thriving, which didn't work out at all whatsoever. I mean, even when they had done the free-to-play
self-bish
couple months back, that basically brought in
nobody
knew who actually purchased the game, because it had peaked at 40,000 players, which technically isn't even half of what release numbers were, but those are people that were coming back for the new season launch and people who were giving it a go. But judging by these
Woke One was crazy, huh?
Figures, those people didn't buy copies and aren't interested.
Yeah, all these Woke One games, they're gonna be gone
In the product.
I'm using Woke One facetiously.
That Bungie has made, which is really depressing because Bungie has made some phenomenal games in the past, but I just don't think that their modern teams of developers are capable of that at all whatsoever. But hearing people cope like this and say, oh my god, the game is still alive, for crying out loud, and it's not the death of a game, is a little bit sad, because maybe they...
I'm seeing people everywhere for everything that have this kind of attitude toward everything. And it's so, like, Yorch Torch Games has kind of shifted to talking about this. He's still, like, calling for, like, hey, the industry needs to correct itself, but he's still leaning into the toxic positivity, which, whatever, man, whatever.
Genuinely do not know the situation that this game is now facing and the hole that Bungie has thrown themselves into, because if you are going to believe numbers that have been circulating, they put $200 to $250 million into the development of this game, never mind the marketing. So all in all, they probably spent $350 million on this game. 2,400 people in your experience isn't going to cut it. You need people consistently coming back to play your live service experience, because this isn't just a single player game that...
How did it cost so much? That's what I want to know. How in the fuck did they spend hundreds of millions of dollars? Looking at other games compared to Marathon, what I've seen, how did it happen?
Goes, and it's understandable that after a few months, a lot of the people who wanted to play...
Like, for games like Wolverine, I can kind of see it. I can kind of understand. They got some gay designers, whatever. It makes it look weird. But you can kind of tell that it's a AAA studio that spent $300 million, you know?
Have played it. It's like with Campaign Evolved. Not adding in multiplayer means that after the 10 hours worth of content you've gotten out of it, you are going to drop it and you're not going to go back to it. But in the case of Marathon, all it really has is the live service component and the extraction. And yes, they did add in the PE mode, but...
They should have done a single-player co-op campaign. It was so easy to see. I don't know how they didn't see it. Oh, yeah, I do, because they were seeing the money bag instead. Trying to chase the money by spending too much money. Because the more you spend, the more you make, right?
Even that wasn't enough to bring people back. And that was like a last-ditch effort for them. That wasn't supposed to...
But don't worry, investors. The player counts are right where we thought they'd be. That's what Sony says.
Release until the end of the year, but they pushed forward their timeline and said, oh, we're just testing it out. We want to get people's reactions and see what your responses are. And the response is silence and crickets and sorrow, because nobody is interested in this title. And so, yeah, I think that they have definitely fumbled with the game in general. I mean, when you have people posting about how you released a new weapon in your extraction shooter that people can extract with, it just goes to show that you don't even know what your game is. Why would you ever put non-extractable loot in an extraction shooter? This is what happens when you decide to hire activists first and foremost, and you hire people based on their skin color and their gender and their sexuality instead of their merits. Merit-based hiring systems are what we clearly need.
Yep, all the people with merit got pushed out because they were problematic.
To go back to, and I don't know what is going to happen with Bungie at this point in time. Sony is clearly putting their foot down with a lot of games. They are putting their foot down with Naughty Dog and
Are they gonna? I think they're gonna break them down and sell them off and close everything else. That's what I think's gonna happen.
Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet. They are putting their foot down with Horizon Hunters Gathering and Guerrilla Games. They have already pushed layoffs at Bungie.
And what are they gonna do? The people that are, putting their foot down are the ones that are responsible for all of this. And they're just gonna blame all of the studios under their boot. Tell them to work better. We're gonna lay off everybody until morale improves. Yeah, okay, good luck with that. I think you need to hand everything off. I think get the corporate culture out of the games. It's the only way the corporations are going to survive.
They have reportedly shrunk these teams by a massive amount, and they aren't working on a future game, or at least they weren't several weeks ago. Maybe now they are. And Sony is trying to cope and trying to damage control. They had said with the release of Season 2 in June, Marathon has maintained a high user retention rate while also acquiring new users. And
high user retention rate. So the 2,485 people that are playing it, play it a lot. That's basically what they're saying with that. High retention rate. Dumb people will see that and be like, oh yeah, they got a lot of players. That's not what that said.
We can see that that is a blatant lie. And so I don't...
No, it wasn't. They were telling the truth. They have a high retention rate among their player base, which is 2,485 on Steam.
know what is going to happen with Bungie. I think that they are going to be given like one more chance, and otherwise this studio is going to be sold off, or it is going to go under, because these are not numbers that a studio can rely on for years and years going forward. So yeah,
It's
I will be keeping
unsustainable.
my eye on Marathon, even though there isn't much to pay attention to at this point, given the game is dead. But for now, that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know.
Honestly, I don't know how it's even gone on this long. Like, why? Why did Sony do this? Why did Bungie make this? What is going on? And this is the only thing that they have going. And it was so easy to see. The L was right there in front of their faces. But once again, blinded by the money bags. And they were hallucinating them. It's like that. It's like in a cartoon. Whenever they're being told something, but their eyes just turn into big money signs. That's all that they can think about. And they destroy everything in the process. And just keep downsizing and combining all of the things that you tore to pieces into one big, disgusting monster that's unsustainable. What games are releasing that are Sony games? We can all count them. And they're all scattered. And they all suck.
And I feel like those same people that were hating are gonna play that game, and guess what? They're gonna love it.
Yeah, I ain't playing it.
So they can be mad.
Should not have said that.
Somebody shouldn't have let her say that.
What is up, space pirates? This is your admiral, the endlessly edgy Dr. Disaster, and one of the lessons that really needs to be soaked up by a ton of AAA developers is that if you are going to be spending hundreds of millions of dollars on making a video game, then you need to maximize your potential audience for the game so that it's possible to make back your money invested.
So you're telling me there's a chance? Yeah!
Oh yes.
Everything about this game should have been pandering to people like me. But they had to wokeify it. They had to completely alienate people like me. This is what the corporations don't understand, man. They just let these people do this. I think it's on purpose, because they're all globalist commies trying to destroy all the cultures so everything will be cheaper, so they get a cheaper price whenever they buy everything. But it's got the anime visuals. It's got 1980s nostalgia. It's space and aliens and shit, and like jukeboxes. Like, this is my kind of shit, but they made it gay.
Yeah. There is definitely every opportunity for a studio to accomplish this, and no, the secrets to broadening one's audience is not simply to throw as many minorities and women characters as possible into a game, thinking that suddenly creates an opportunity for an untapped audience of people who were waiting to supposedly see themselves in a game and thinking that they will swoop in and buy it now. The people that were not buying games before might vocalize how much they love when a studio does this, but that does not meaningfully change their spending habits. Most of them will only pay that studio back with prey. No, the best way to maximize an audience is by making...
Yeah, for every one time that they give money to Naughty Dog, they're gonna make 1,000 posts about it.
Characters that the vast majority of the gaming community want to be, or make those characters something that the vast majority of the audience wants to look at. In other words, don't make bald-headed boss girl characters with an ugly sneer perpetually etched onto their face like they did here with Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet.
It's that, like, whatever millennial culture, drama student attitude. I fucking hate it.
You are one ugly motherfucker.
Just imagine if, instead of the intentionally ugly female character they were using in this game, they decided to
Oh, they're making a statement about beauty standards.
With someone like Nathan Drake from their...
And then you see the actor guy who's obviously a recognizable actor, and it just takes me out of it, man.
Uncharted franchise.
Up there at the top.
Or Joel from The Last of Us. Or hell, if you want a female character, then Elle
And she's an actor too. I recognize her from Shameless.
From the last,
and now I recognize the black Asian chick as a celebrity that says you're gonna play it and you're gonna like it. Yeah, whatever.
Of us would have been a huge upgrade.
She said, "Love it."
If you want her to be an Asian version of a character like that, then
that guy.
Sure, nobody cares, go for it, but with the proper protagonist in place, Intergalactic might have seemed interesting, but instead, Naughty Dog chose the path of most resistance by making this character bald and nasty looking, banking on the hopes that the traditional gaming crowd would be replaced by the new...
See, that's a good shot. Some people knew what they were doing.
Feminist audience that they are trying to cultivate. Things have seemingly not gone as planned in that department when they released their announcement trailer for this game, the Game Awards in December of 2024. Well, take a look at the ratio for this turd on the official PlayStation YouTube channel. They got ratioed at a damn near 3-to-1 clip. It turns out that intentionally making a character ugly does not inspire them to love a game's concept. Instead, the gaming community's reaction is pretty much...
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for it to come out.
To this new
if it ever comes out.
Who's here? An analyst who is a former Naughty Dog developer is now talking about the great length that he expects the studio still has to go through in order to make Intergalactic playable, and how they are going to have to fix something moving forward so that games don't take so long to make at Naughty Dog. Obviously, the massive time that they have spent on Intergalactic means that the budget is ridiculous. And my contention is that if you are going to commit to massive development cycles like this, then for a studio as large and well known as Naughty Dog, that actually could work, but not while also intentionally pissing off your audience and causing many of us to look at their work and go,
"Suit yourself, queer."
Fire all the feminists, fire all the women. Feminists including men, not just women. So fire all the feminists and all the women, all the wokies. Just walk in and say a bunch of slurs, and if anybody gets offended, fire them. What else could you do to test people on whether or not they should be working there?
Alright, me hearties, in order to understand the context of what we are going to be reading about in a minute here, it must be pointed out that Naughty Dog was long ago on a legendary tear where they released a lot of really great games in a relatively short period of time.
So many corporations used to do this. I actually wrote an article about this. How in the 2000s we were getting like sometimes 20 games a year from one studio, or not one studio, but like one company, like Ubisoft or EA. They were just shitting them all out, and there was a lot of gems. Half of it was shit, but I mean, now they don't even take risks, and everything's just kind of the same, and it all fails the same, and it all costs the same.
The original Uncharted, for example, came out in 2007, Uncharted 2 came out in 2009, Uncharted 3 came out in 2011, and The Last of Us was released in 2013. Those are 4 extremely popular and well-loved games in a roughly 6-year period. Uncharted 4 came out 3 years after The Last of Us in 2016.
How do games take so fucking long to make? It honestly can't be that hard to make a game, even that looks this great. If Expedition 33 can do it, if Baldur's Gate can do it, I just don't understand.
Uncharted The Lost Legacy, a standalone expansion of Uncharted 4, came out in 2007, but since then, we have only seen The Last of Us 2, all the way back in 20.
All they need to do is just like just make PlayStation 3 games. Literally make games for the PlayStation 3 again and just release them now on all of the major consoles like PS5, PS6, whatever. But every company needs to do this.
7 years after the first game's
Save so much money.
And The Last of Us 2.
People are mostly playing games from the 360 and early Xbox One era anyway.
while successful from a purely monetary perspective, left a pretty sour taste in a lot of people's mouths, and I contend that it caused a lot of reputational damage for the studio. It's well known as a classic bait and switched game where the beloved protagonist from the original game, Joel, gets killed off and replaced by the now lesbian character Ellie because it came out during peak woke. A lot of people bought that game as a knee-jerk reaction because they loved the first one so much, but it's worth noting that while the first game has sold around 37 million copies, the second is estimated to have sold around a third of that figure, at somewhere around...
It fell into the sequel trap, where the sequel is just not as good as the first game, because it got corporatized. They got too big for their britches, made too much money, wanted even more money, bigger and better, and we're gonna have to put a message in it because it's so big that it's affecting culture. So we have to affect culture how we want to affect culture, and not accidentally make a game for the chuds. No, we wouldn't want that.
10 to 12 million units. People have now had over 6 years to stew over the fact that this studio got one over on them with that game's bait and switch, and despite all the game journalists claiming that it was just a vocal minority who hated the wokeification of The Last of Us, it turns out that last year, when the second season of the franchise's TV show released, which featured the first part of the story from the second game, well, the audience turned on the show big time. It was savage on Rotten Tomatoes and other review aggregator sites by the audience, and viewership fell off a freaking cliff because killing off Joel in such a way is such a wretched and gut-wrenching story decision. It was received so poorly that this TV show, which the showrunners were insisting at the time would need at least 4 seasons to tell the full story, they trimmed it down now so that it will have finished in 3 seasons, and Naughty Dog studio head Neil Druckmann left the TV show and went back to his gaming studio.
I am a zombies fan. I love all things zombies. I watched the first episode of The Last of Us and I was completely out on it. And I watched all of Z Nation, so I can watch some bad zombie shows, and I just couldn't.
Seemingly pushed out. In other words, the picture I am trying to paint is one where Naughty Dog really needs a big win. They haven't released a single new game on the PS5 generation of consoles, and most likely by the time Intergalactic is ready, the PS6 will be out. Their budget is likely incredibly high for this game. Speculation and estimates based on the year's work.
Is it gonna be a Beyond Good and Evil 2 situation? Is this game even gonna come out?
On the game has it at somewhere between 300 million or even upwards of a staggering 600 million.
It'd be Concord 10?
Based on some analyst opinion. Anyhow, with all of that in mind, let's have a peek at what they are talking about with the game in this article here from Games Radar. It says here, the last thing Naughty Dog released was in 2024, and it was the developers' The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. To the former
Wasn't even
The
a real
Last
game.
of Us and Uncharted series designer Benson Russell, that's a problem. Now a game development consultant, Russell recommends his former employer spare its next game from the prolonged development period it's accustomed. And look, all I'm saying is that if they want to take their sweet ass time and try to perfect things, then that could be okay, as long as they also don't intentionally alienate parts of the audience. But when you do both,
You're gonna have to alienate the part of the audience that's insane. Trans community, they're gonna bitch about it, but fuck them. Look at Harry Potter.
then that is a major issue. But reading on, it says, Naughty Dog's upcoming sci-fi adventure Intergalactic, The Heretic Prophet, has now been in production for 6 years, while the game doesn't yet have a release date. By the time it finally launches, we could be trudging towards the PS6 generation, which is why Russell says in a new interview he thinks Naughty Dog's lethargic release calendar is absolutely not sustainable. He says about the developer, they're one of the key stakeholders that gets PlayStation sold, right? So, when you think about it, they have not put an original IP out on this platform. The only thing they've done is The Last of Us remake. Russell guesses the Heretic Prophet's protracted production period is the result of another Last of Us 2 situation, his term for Naughty Dog's eagerness to map a concise story to overstuffed gameplay. It might need to be edited in that regard now, as
it needs to be edited in the regard of not being woke bullshit. But it's too late. It's already ingrained all the way into the design and the characters. There's nothing they can do. They dug their graves. Now they can lie in it.
the Heretic Prophet heads toward,
and lying they will do,
its 7th year of development, Russell reflects on the industry-wide trouble of zombified production periods. The biggest titles reveal a small outbreak of developers dragging their feet. GTA 6 is a decade overdue. Fable has been delayed to 2027 after being announced in 2020. The Max Payne 1 and 2 remake has been under construction for 4 years and counting, and so
I didn't even know that was happening.
I genuinely think these 7-year projects, you can get them back down to 5, Russell says. I think you could at least cut 2 years off them, if not maybe a little more.
Yeah, they need to 1 year, 2 years to get a game. It doesn't have to be the same one in the franchise.
Just by defining yourself, getting that North Star solid right in the beginning, and it's not a difficult thing to do. Otherwise, Russell argues, developers risk making a mess of their games with team changes, technical changes, and the unavoidable frustration of starting over.
Yeah, and culture changes over time. It flows over a decade. And when it takes a decade to make a game, the culture of when you started and when you finish is completely different. The social media culture, the gaming culture, we got new console generations coming about.
And I think a lot of this phenomenon where large studios are getting tons of money pumped into them as they take forever to put out new games, it's explainable by a few things. I don't think the people working in these studios are actually in love with their jobs anymore. They aren't the autistic gaming nerds who couldn't get it out of their heads until the game was finished. They aren't people like that. Too often these studios are littered with HR ladies and the communist activist types who are just super lazy and don't actually care about the work they do. For them, it's just a job, and it shows. 7 years for development is wild in a world where development tools have been upgraded so much. And then, when you add in the fact the games that do eventually get made are often designed at the expense of gamers, trying to subvert them with progressive slopaganda rather than being made for them, well, it's not hard to see why the industry is deflating so rapidly. Most of these imbeciles deserve it. Anyhow, make sure to hit the like button on this.
Soulful bitch! You're gay!
You're gay! You're gay.
Do you ever tell yourself something you really want to be true? Like, I am sticking with the workout this time. I am finishing this game before I start another one. I am going to put out a video every single week. Well, the people making our games have got...
I've been trying to do daily content for years, and I just don't do it. It ends up being like every few days. I'm really trying this time, I promise.
I'm really good at it too. Like Insomniac saying internet memes and criticism surrounding Wolverine have been a relentless onslaught. Bethesda protesters saying Bethesda makes great games people love, or laid off Halo devs stating Halo campaign evolved had a successful launch. If the last decade has taught us anything, it is that there is an increasingly bizarre disconnect between so many of these AAA studios and the people buying their games, between executives and their own studios, between journalists and players, between what the industry says is true and what is very obviously actual reality. Because while we are getting LinkedIn post after LinkedIn post about layoffs from people who just shipped a
Yeah, whenever they're worried about shit like layoffs and shit, you know that it's all corporate culture. When it's just about jobs and corporatism. Because passionate game studios don't deal with these problems. And when they do have layoffs, it's not a big deal like this with protests and shit.
acclaimed successful game, I'm also watching players post celebrations about those same layoffs, some of them with millions of views. Gamers have spent years feeling like they were yelling at a wall, watching their hobby get more expensive in every way, watching their favorite franchises get worse, watching quality continue to drop, while everyone inside these companies kept insisting things were going great. And at the same time, Western AAA has spent years.
Things were going great because I'm still working and I'm still getting paid. That's really what they mean.
Getting insulated from reality, from its customers, from any real criticism, and eventually from its. And while 2026 may be the year of the horse for China, it is the year of the chud for gamers, and more importantly, it is the year the market has finally stopped letting everybody play. But before we get into
Well, not quite.
all of that, it is a real
Politics is still all about it. And really, they're the ones that are shaking hands with the corporations that control the markets.
really great to be back. I hope you've been having a great summer. I know I disappeared again. I'm so sorry. There were some side quests I had to go take care of, and as penance,
I've mostly been taking care of chickens and ducks, and it's been great.
please accept. But a lot has happened over the past month, so let's do a super quick catch-up. GTA 6 is coming to Netflix. The extended preview of the game, that
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like 6 hours of footage. I don't care about this.
I'll be honest, I didn't even realize we could reach this level of advertising, and it means that there are people out there right now paying for a subscription specifically to watch a GTA 6 ad.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
Yeah, well, but we
Especially when you can just get it for free online. A lot of people are paying out of principle, and I'm like, bro, you hate these corporations, yet you're still giving them money.
also got more info on
when you don't have to.
Kingdom Hearts 4, including its launch window of late 2027. I'm pretty excited for this, I won't lie. I had a lot of the Kingdom Hearts games on my old PlayStation consoles, but I have since sold them all. So I did the only reasonable thing, and I just bought the main trilogy on Steam, which is only like $30 for all three right now. I'm actually pretty excited to play all of them again.
Yeah, getting the previously exclusive PlayStation games on Steam.
Including
That's where your fan base is now. Good luck, because you alienated them.
Kingdom Hearts 3. You know what they say? God gives his toughest battles. Swords and Slippers and Knight's Path are back on my timeline, with one of the female characters being
I saw that Swords and Slippers.
described as porny. And if you guessed it was the fully clothed medieval maiden with a little bit of cleavage standing there with her cat, you would be correct. Now, I don't think either of these characters could be described as porny, whatever that means, but these devs do know exactly who they are building for, and they are not interested in being bullied into building for anything else. The war on pretty female characters rages on, so thank you to the devs fighting the good fight. Speaking of which, we got more Tides of Annihilation. The combat in this game continues to look really fun. Gwendolyn is looking a little bit different this time around, but still absolutely stunning. And now there is some speculation that Angela Sandobuano may be stepping in for Jennifer English as her new voice actress, which, if that ends up being true, that'll do, pig. That'll do.
Yep,
Unfortunately,
I'm cool with that.
not
I love me some Resident Evil. I really don't mind. They can pretty much do anything. I'm going to buy it at this point.
every upcoming game has been having quite the same effect, which brings us to... So for weeks now, we've been getting more and more Wolverine content.
It's so uncanny valley. I can't unsee it. He looks so weird.
As the game gets closer to release, and I'll be honest, this was never really a game for me, alright? And the more that I've seen of it, the less...
It looks like they're really trying to pander to the audience that liked X-Men Origins Wolverine. Just a little bit, but that's not their main audience. They're just trying to put in a little bit of nostalgia bait in there. For people like me, but it's not going to work, because the rest of it looks fucking weird.
Interested I have become. It appears some of the internet may feel that way too now, and Insomniac has gone on the record about it. Their community and marketing
Who thought that looked good?
director posted this, saying, I think the wild way this algorithm amplifies and forces negativity upon you has me reconsidering my philosophy of telling devs to look or post here. It is a relentless onslaught that I cannot believe is good for anyone's mental health, nor representative. A relentless onslaught. It's a really intense word to use, so I went and looked for this onslaught, braced myself a little, and it's Ben 10. People are making jokes about this game, reminding them of Ben 10, and that a chase sequence leaves a little red streak by Sabretooth when he runs, so the modern audience doesn't get lost, and overall just a fair amount of memes about how...
Yeah, a lot of people were saying, oh, a third-person action game having a big boss battle that's similar to other boss battles? You don't say? A regular game mechanic? I'm like, yeah, $300 million.
They don't think this game looks very good. And then the rest of it, the part that isn't memes, is just people having opinions about the game itself. Really unappealing character designs, which Insomniac seems to take genuine pride in. The cheesy dialogue, the fact that what has been shown off looks like the same generic Sony movie game formula that we've been handed for the better part of a decade. Gameplay and box.
And it looks gay from the design. Even if the characters themselves aren't gay. It was like the soul was gay.
Fights that have for years. And
why is his body so wide and fat looking?
And of course, Sweet Baby Ink involved, which at this point, most people can probably spot. None of that is an onslaught. That is just a reaction to marketing for a product you were getting ready to release to the public. But like clockwork, the journalists have shown up to defend the game from the evil chud discourse, claiming that this game is yet another victim of its endless gaming A victim! A $70 game with a multi-million-dollar budget backed by Sony is a victim.
I think they were just rage baiting. It seems like rage bait to me for clicks, and I think they're not doing so well. I've been seeing a lot of the posts where they're like, 3 free Steam games. Check it out in the link down in the replies. And then you click it, and it's like, check out this website that has keys for 3 free Steam games, maybe, if you enter.
Because people looked at what has been shown off, and they have not been impressed. That is the framing that we are now going with, not, hey, I don't know, here's why we think you'll love this game. No, the game is a victim, and you're kind of a jerk if you're not gushing with excitement, ready to hand over your hard-earned. What's even crazier?
How do they make money? Actually, I know the answer to that. It's part of the culture. It's part of the corporate culture. All these corporations own the same companies. Rotten Tomatoes and IGN are both owned by Universal, owned by Comcast.
Though, is that this is Wolverine, one of the most beloved characters in comics, and getting the opportunity to work on a Marvel game like this should be a privilege. You have the opportunity to work with one of the most recognizable characters on the entire planet. 50-something years of comics, the movies, the cartoons, whole generations of people who have grown up with this character.
That's why they didn't want to take any risks. They didn't want to mess up the beloved character. And by the action of doing that, they messed up the beloved character. Fucking morons.
But just like with Spider-Man, if you do him a disservice, of course, people are going to notice. If he suspiciously looks like a kinder version of that kid from Jumanji for some reason...
Oh, fuck. That's a new one.
They're going to notice. But even with that being said, the bar for this game was never to go do something impossible. If Insomniac just had their head on straight, the bar was supposed to be, go do the thing you already know how to do. I really loved the 2018 Spider-Man, and I thought they did a great job with that game.
I didn't play it.
But they have just to get back there.
I have only played Spyro and the Ratchet and Clank games from Insomniac.
Either way, gamers are not here to protect studios' feelings. We are the customer, and it is their job to sell us the game. People making jokes and criticizing creative decisions is harassment. And what is so funny to me is how fast the blame comes and how familiar it all feels. We saw it with Assassin's Creed Shadows, which said it was a battle that they fought and won. There was the Highguard dev who deleted his statements and his account twice. And now it is Insomniac. It is the same with 3 steps every single time. The game gets shown off, or in Highguard's case, gets blasted to the heavens by Jeff Keighley. People say what they think about it very bluntly because it is the internet. And then instead of anybody in the studio going, huh, that is an awful lot of people saying the same specific thing, the response that comes back is that the audience is the worst. The audience is attacking us. The gamers are bullies.
It's part of the corporate mindset to push this into the social media because morons who are willing to latch on and defend them will repeat all of this. And they'll repeat it to each other, and other people will repeat it from those people without even seeing the original posts. And it just becomes a mind virus, and they know how to manipulate it. Because that mind virus was created by these international corporations.
All a coordinated attack, and they are always the victim. If we just look at the balance of power in this specific situation, on one side you have got Sony, a billion-dollar publishing arm, 50 years of Marvel, and the games press writing before the game is even out. On the other side, a guy who made a Ben 10.
Yeah, it just made me wanted to play that Ben 10 game. So I downloaded it, I got it. I'm gonna play it probably tomorrow. It's gonna be great. I might record it and put it on my gaming channel. I'll link down there in the description.
But Yes, it is gamers that are the Avengers level. Speaking of assembling, let's talk about Halo and how somehow they managed to make every possible mistake a Western AAA studio could make. Now, I was never a huge Halo person. I knew what it was.
I fucking love it.
Obviously, but it was never my thing. It was my older brother's thing, and it was my husband's thing before I ever knew him. The whole LAN party era, I was a bit too young and much more interested in playing Zelda to care about.
I was right after the LAN era. I did a couple of LAN parties with Xbox 360s, but it was like wireless LAN, WLAN, whatever you want to call it. This was like right when Wi-Fi was really becoming a thing.
Any of that, but Halo is one of the most recognizable IP in all of gaming. I would honestly argue it is Star Wars tier, and even if you've never played it, it is the game that your friend's older brother had, and it is the reason an entire generation of people know what a warthog is. So, watching what has happened to it after all these years, genuinely very sad to see. Halo Studios, which was 343 Industries for most of this, has been making Halo for almost 19 years. Almost 2 decades of one studio basically doing one thing, which is what makes the reporting on Campaign Evolved so hard for me to wrap my head around.
So hasn't 343 or Halo Studios owned Halo longer than Bungie did? I say owned, but you know, made Halo. This is true at this point, right? Have they made more Halo games now under their wing than Bungie did? See, Bungie made 5. So we got Halo 4, Halo 5, Halo Infinite, Campaign Evolved. Oh, we got one more to go.
An article came out recently detailing an allegedly pretty rough development cycle. Things like not even realizing that assets would clearly need to be rebuilt for this remake, building it.
Wait, did 343 do any of the Master Chief Collection? I didn't count any of those. Let's go ahead and not count it.
In abstraction for technical work and level design across the campaign, which reportedly fell apart. And again, this is a game that has been around for 25 years, and the studio that has spent 19 years doing nothing but trying to make Halo good again and failing hired another studio to design Halo levels.
Oh, so they've had it way longer.
And underneath all of it, the studio head reportedly promoted people into leadership roles they were not equipped for, leading to even more awful mismanagement. And then what happened when the game came out and actually reached players?
Dude, they hired so many contractors. Whenever you do that and then you lose your contractors every cycle, you're losing the soul. You're not getting the same people working on it who are doing the same things continue what you already made. You have to make a new thing every single time. Once again, unsustainable, especially if you're spending this much time and this much money making.
Low numbers across Steam and PlayStation.
We had 5 Halo games within a decade, and they were all great.
Mixed Steam reviews sitting in the low 60s, a 5.2 user score, the lowest launch player count in series history, and complaints about basically everything. The new missions, the cringy dialogue, the insufferable masculine girl boss, the account requirements, the enemy AI, bugs, no multiplayer, even the AI angel herself, Cortana. They germ at her. It is like somebody printed out the entire list of things that you are not supposed to do to a beloved franchise or, you know, just to a game in general.
Almost as if they did it on purpose. Because they don't like guns in games. Halo is for chuds. They're all just a bunch of commies. They're working a job. They'll end up working somewhere else. And the longer they take making games, that's job security, baby. If we're just gonna be laid off after every cycle, might as well just make the cycle longer, am I right?
And then ran it start to finish without skipping a single one. And the parts that Halo Studios actually added themselves, the pieces that were uniquely theirs, the new missions, ended up being some of the most criticized things in the whole. What is so crazy to me is that this should have been the safest assignment imaginable. This story already exists, the characters already exist, the levels exist, the game already worked and was extremely beloved.
And they already remade it! It's so crazy. Such a bad decision. I called this right out the gate.
Loved by an enormous amount of people. You are remaking Halo, and it still turned into a case study of mismanagement, creative disconnect, lack of skill, followed a week or two after launch by layoffs, which we didn't even find out about through corporate announcement, by the way. We found out because people started posting it on LinkedIn. One of the devs wrote that after 6.5 years on Halo and dodging just many rounds of layoffs, it had finally caught up with him. Another dev wrote that his time there ended following the successful launch of the latest game. Successful.
But layoffs happen all the time. It's normal. It's not normal. This didn't used to happen all the time. This is only a recent thing. People are acting like it's always been normal. No, it has not. We've just been seeing it for a long time, spread out, but now it's getting faster and faster and faster, more people getting laid off, more changes being made, just faster and faster and faster. It's great. I love it. Yeah, just keep down the same path. It's the path paved to hell.
And while it is hard to grasp, I do think that there is a real chance that these people, the things that probably because this is the language that was being used around them the entire time. That is the only feedback they got. That is what was shared in the company meetings. That was what
They didn't want anything else. They pushed everybody out, made everything a problem that wasn't part of their degenerate culture.
everybody in the building had already agreed upon that the launch would look like. But if your definition of success can include the lowest launch player count in Halo history, a 5.2 user score at best, mixed reviews, and layoffs 2 weeks later, I don't know what to say. I did not have high expectations for Ubisoft's Black Flag remake, and even they still ended up performing so much better than this. And a not so fun fact to close this section out, both studios that have ever touched this franchise, Bungie and Halo Studios, had layoffs 6 apart, all during Halo's 25th, which is a pretty bleak way to celebrate a legacy. And speaking of bleak celebrations, let's go to a parking lot in Rockville. After all the layoffs and the protests that took place last month, I honestly thought that we would get a little quiet out of Bethesda. We did not, because on August 11th, the Xbox leadership came out to visit Bethesda Game Studios, and Asha Sharma was there to see.
Shut them down. Shut them all down. Anybody who's on the side of this should be fired. Fire them all and deport them. Deport them all. Deport all the blue-haired commies with the septum piercings.
Current build of Elder Scrolls 6. The Bethesda workers there knew that she was coming, so to welcome her,
all of the Lindsay Clancy supporters.
The protesters put up posters outside of their cubicles, which management then told them they had to take down or flip around. So the employees then switched to balloons, which is a weird escalation. Somebody sat there and thought,
these people are weird. And they didn't have anybody actually organizing this. They put it together themselves. And they're all stupid. And a bunch of babies.
About it and went, fine, they can take our posters. They are not taking her. And then outside in the grass in front of the building, they planted 8.
That's some real corporate behavior. Even if you're trying to, in quotes, go against the corporation, you're really just wanting to be in the corporation. They're a bunch of corporate freaks. They're addicted to the culture.
100 red flags, one for every worker that has been laid off since July of last year, and they brought out,
don't fire people. They were my friends. You said we were a family. Congratulations, you've created a monster.
Gabby, who is a giant inflatable union rat.
And that monster is an inflatable rat.
That I did not even know existed until this happened. So Asha shows up to all of this, goes inside, looks at the game, and tweets out that the scale and grandeur of Elder Scrolls 6 are incredible.
From a non-gamer, by the way. Like, she wouldn't know what looks good. She probably knows what looks bad, like outright bad, probably, I guess.
And she is right. That is a lot of grandeur. To which the Bethesda brand account replied, thanking her for the kind words and the wonderful visit. So the brand account is on X doing hospitality, while the staff is on the lawn with a rat. Bethesda, if you can hear me, you've got to wrangle in your union guys, because they are just having the opposite effect of what you probably want. Every time I see them pop up in headlines, I already know that they have just done something that is going to be completely dismissed by gamers, and more importantly, by Daddy Microsoft. But it is not just Bethesda. Since 2022, there have been over 45,000 layoffs in the gaming industry. The projection for this year alone is over 14,000, and you can look at a number like that on top of...
It's gonna get worse. I'm not seeing any kind of course correction. Asha Sharma trimmed off a lot of fat, but she didn't do a full turnaround like she needed.
Anything else that everyone's been hit with for the past few years and go...
They're focusing on the big mainstream IPs that cost $300 million still.
All right, that's it. Gaming is dying. Except when you add all of them together, you see reportedly that 95% of those layoffs are happening in the West, with the majority of them in North America. Now, of course, overhiring and mismanagement is real. Corporate greed is very real.
They definitely overhire. Especially during COVID, they overhired. But whenever you got hundreds and thousands of people working on games and they take so long to come out, of course this has to happen.
Unfortunately, I am sure
if you're really passionate about games, you'll be going to work on your own games and they'll be successful if you're any good.
Very talented people have been swept up in these layoffs over the years, and there is a lack of job security in America. All of those things are playing a part here, but at what point can we also all be honest and say Maybe the hiring practices we've put into place and bragged about for the past 5 or 6 years have had a directly negative impact on the games we've been making.
We're pushing ourselves into an indie and AA culture. Either do it yourself or it doesn't get done at all.
Maybe building teams around DEI targets, ESG goals, ideological fit, social politics, or really anything other than who is actually the best person for the job, who understands what it is we're making, and who genuinely wants to be here is contributing to the unsuccessful launches and cycles.
Yep, and I write articles about this every single day on Substack, now X, over on Medium.
It is no secret that there is this environment of toxic HR positivity, especially inside Western AAA, and a lot of it comes from the top down. You are completely surrounded by it. I mean, if you are working at Bethesda, you can quite literally be standing next to a guy with an actual communist tattoo on his neck. I am not saying that to attack him personally. I bring it up because it tells you something about the kind of ideological environment we are talking about here. What do you think the priorities are when that team is hiring? What does internal feedback even look like in an environment like that? Something like, comrade, respectfully, your quest is buns. I am joking, obviously. We all know that there is no real feedback inside these cases, which makes me wonder.
The only feedback they're getting is about how awesome they are because of their cultural politics, and how everybody who's giving them hate online are just a bunch of chuds.
What these companies are really.
I can't wait until I see on Blue Sky, chuds killed another game studio. Oh no, they killed another game.
Taking away from any of this, because at the exact same time we are seeing Wolverine, Halo, and Bethesda flounder and lose their audience support, we are watching smaller studios and independent developers put out games that reach absolutely ridiculous levels of success, games that in some cases are putting productions with hundreds of millions of dollars behind them to shame. And it is not because those developers necessarily had it easy. Pocket Bear has dealt with enormous public pressure, harassment, and an entire population of Pokemon zealots preying on their downfall. Both Larian and Clair Obscure got dragged into witch hunts or AI. These studios have dealt with criticism, controversy, and accusations, but did they turn around and start fighting with their own audience base at corporate statement?
They didn't have gay design straight up from the ground up in their games. And sure, there's gay stuff in the games. Nobody cares. It's just whenever you have this kind of design, and you know what I'm talking about. It's like they all were in the same Tumblr feeds, or like all on fucking DeviantArt.
About the onslaught of opinions and memes and what it was doing to everybody's mental health? No. Now, again, I am not trying to make all of this sound like doom and gloom, because despite everything I have just spent this entire video saying, I really do think we are just starting to see a correction was probably always going to come. This current version of Western...
We've been predicting this. I said it was going to take a decade, and it's taken a decade. And we're here, because that's usually how long it takes for a culture to completely shift. That's why we have distinctly the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s. It's because it takes a decade. And it's not straight 1990 to 2000. It's like 1995 to 2005. It flows over 10 years.
AAA has survived for way too long. These companies have had decades of customer goodwill behind them, enormous franchises that people were emotionally attached to, and enough money in the bank to insulate.
As back when they were going with the flow of the culture instead of trying to tell the culture how it should be and how it should not be, trying to manipulate it into what they want it to be.
Themselves for years and years. They could lose people, disappoint people, release something mediocre, promise the next one would be better, and there was always enough goodwill left over to the machine moving, but things are finally correcting. The year of the Chud is bringing us more and more into balance. To be honest, Bethesda is really what inspired this entire video in the first place, all because of one protester, shocked by the layoffs, saying, I have been told Bethesda makes great games people love. And that line has stuck with me for weeks now, because I don't necessarily think that person was lying. I think the sadder possibility is that they meant it completely. Because if everyone around you says you're doing great, and that the game you're working on is great, and the journalists tell you is important, and the consultants tell you that it's inclusive, the internal metrics say engagement is promising, the award show tell you that what you're doing is brave, eventually the only person left telling you something is very wrong is your customer. Eventually, if those customers continue to...
The customer is always right, especially the ones who aren't buying your product.
to be the only people telling you something is wrong, you start to see them as the enemy.
The people who used to buy your product and don't anymore. Those are the people that are right. Those are the people you should be pandering to.
You can call something a successful launch. You can describe memes and gaming opinions as an onslaught that is terrible for your mental health. You can insist people still love your games, even when you haven't actually given them a game that they've asked for in over a decade. Even if all of those things feel completely true inside the room where you're saying them, it does not make them true in reality. It does not make them true in player reviews. It does not make them true in player counts or copies sold. And it does not make them true in the discourse in social media. All of those things will always be based in reality, and it is about time some of these studios find. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
I would love to know what you think about all of this. And what I said at the beginning is true, by the way. I really am trying to be more consistent with uploads, and I really...
Aren't we all? Now we're moving on to the next portion, where we'll talk about the fall of Hollywood.
How are you feeling about how James Gunn is?
I love it.
I don't
it's
really
great.
like it. I don't really. I know a lot of people liked the Superman movie. I didn't particularly like it. I think
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch Supergirl. I don't watch none of it. I don't buy into nothing from the corporate globalist commies.
I put out a huge tweet regarding Superman, and I got a lot of pushback, but you know what? I don't care. Those were my thoughts about it. I didn't watch Peacemaker. I didn't really care about that character. I didn't even like the Suicide Squad movie that he
Same.
when that came out.
I don't like none of it. 2016 and onward, pretty much all the superhero stuff I was out on.
So there's a lot of projects.
Is that 2016? When did Suicide Squad come out? That's when it started falling off for me.
That James Gunn has done that I haven't really been on board with it, just because they don't feel like DC movies. I think that he is trying to do it in his own way and kind of Marvelize everything. And I think that there needs to be separation between DC and Marvel. I feel like with DC, it almost feels a little bit darker and a little more adult than some of the Marvel. A lot of people might disagree with me, but like that's how I.
But it's not working. I think they need to go into the like campy, less expensive looking style with more heart and soul. Go back to the 90s DC, but like make it more cohesive, coherent. Doesn't have to be all in the same universe. It can kind of just exist in the same universe and not be interacting. Marvel, it gets a little crazy, you know. Don't have to do that. You can have smaller movies. What do they call it in Marvel? Small potatoes?
I've seen these two properties growing up. And Supergirl was probably the worst movie that I have ever seen.
$72 million domestic, $126 million worldwide, less than Morbius, less than Joker 2.
Yeah.
Waller has been canceled. Paradise Lost, which is a Wonder Woman Themyscira prequel, canceled. Booster Gold, canceled.
Who the fuck cares about any of that?
Poison Ivy and Catwoman shows didn't even get accepted, could be rejected at the stage.
Yeah, what?
And now what we're seeing is that they're getting backlash because they got caught using generative AI to do Lobo concept art.
Yeah, how about that?
Yep. Like they completely.
The left likes to they like to say that they hate AI, but then the leftist corporations, they just use it anyway. It's all fake. It's all pandering nonsense, virtue signals. Because really, at the end of the day, they're all doing the things that everybody hates anyway, or at least the people they're pandering to. And they're trying to keep it a secret. And nobody's really talking about it.
They privated that video on their YouTube channel
it's gone.
because of the backlash that they were receiving. And I also read somewhere that like he's using it AI for Man of Tomorrow.
I mean, I'm sorry, but they're using it these days.
They are.
They
are.
The thing is, they don't want you
they're
to use
using it for like the script.
But the leftoids hate it. They hate AI. But they love Hollywood. It's crazy, man.
It's in the writer's room of DC. And like that shouldn't be happening. And to me, I'm wondering if that's why.
I'm fine with it happening if we're getting good content out of it. But we're not. Because they're pandering to the people who hate all of this shit. And it's hilarious.
Movies are just so terrible because they are using AI to help them out, write their scripts. Like, is that why? What is her name? Is that what Sophia, the writer for the Supergirl movie?
It was Anna Nagura, was it?
Anna Nagura. I don't know why I was thinking Sophia Nagura. Anna Nagura. I honestly question like whether or not she used AI to help her.
Well, you'll never know because you don't have anything else ever written as a.
And they're going to lie to you and say that they didn't. Because if you don't have any proof, then they don't have to say it.
Comparison because she's never written anything.
That is true.
She didn't have any other credits to her name, and that was the. And here's the thing, guys. The thing that benefits me with these movies is, especially when I go in with low X, I usually end up, it's fine. And I think that Millie Alcock is a fantastic drunk actress. I think she did drunk very well. I think she had good physical I think she does good physical comedy.
Hancock was better.
With her movements in those scenes.
It was like a female version of Hancock, or a feminist version of Hancock, from what I could tell, because I didn't watch it.
And
I just heard people talking about it on YouTube, because I would much rather watch my favorite YouTubes talk about a shit movie than waste my time watching a shit movie. And I'm definitely not paying money for it. I barely pay money for things that I like.
In general, I thought that the movie was... I think I gave it like a B- or a C or something.
Oh, you were
like that.
incredibly generous.
I am the most generous movie critic in history. I love everything.
Yeah, but it can't afford that. It can't afford B- or a C from somebody who likes everything. It needs to be absolutely phenomenal for everybody and make hundreds of millions of dollars and even billions of dollars. And they could have easily done that. But they're all a bunch of weirdo woke freaks working on this. They pushed out all the people with talent.
I loved everything but The Crow and Wonka. Those are the only two movies.
Oh, I loved Wonka.
I've made the point. I said,
oh, dude, I love the old Crow movie. I even love Crow 2. I even love the bad ones. And even the bad ones are better than the latest Crow movie. What the fuck was that? It wasn't even really a Crow movie.
If I was in a better mood when I saw Wonka, I probably would have liked it. For some reason, I was like, I don't think they had my drunken fries, and I was just in a bad mood. I bet you if I rewatched it now, I would end up really, really liking it. But for the most part, I am the most forgiving critic. I give everything, yeah, it was fine. There are some movies that I really, really love, but Supergirl was it was ugly looking. The movie looked gross. It looked brown and yellow like a toilet.
Yeah.
But it was, as far as I could say, I would never watch it. But that's how I feel about even the stuff I like, I usually don't watch it. Like, I rewatch old stuff all the time, but I don't rewatch a lot of new stuff. I think the only stuff that I rewatched F1. And it wasn't the same because it really was meant to be seen on the big screen. And weirdly enough, I've rewatched Equalizer 3 like 3 times, and I have no idea why. I think something about the fact that it was filmed on location in Italy. I really, really like that. It seemed like a character in the movie. But look, guys, these studios, they're using AI for everything, and they are actively working to stop you from using it by shaming you because they don't want you to have access to the same technology that they do. And that's the sad fact, is that they're going to be using it every stage of the movie making. Do you consider it more of a problem in script writing as opposed to just like there's a vast difference between the storyboarding, mock-ups of characters and then actually using it? Does that matter to you, or do you say don't use it?
I think the corporate freaks need to not use it at all because they don't know how to use it properly. They're cutting corners. Try and save as much money as possible so they can still spend as much as possible on bullshit. Usually just tech demos because they're just playing around. Like, look at this cool thing that we did. Doesn't it look awesome? Check out the behind the scenes of how we did it. We did all of this work and spent all this money to do this thing that we've never done before. Or we did it in a different way. It's so fucking stupid, man. The new Halo remake did that. They were like, check out all these new technologies we used. But then the game is shit.
Yeah, as far as storyboarding, sure. That's I guess you can use it in that stage. The way that they were...
Okay, that's enough of this one. I think they're just going to keep talking about Hollywood and the tricks that they use. Really, it was about the Lobo situation. Check out Pop Culture Crisis, though. It's a cool show. Vera Dark's on there sometimes.
You've heard me blabber on about physical media a lot over the last year and a half, maybe even 2 years or so. And more recently, everyone's been jibber-jabbering about physical media in light of Sony coming forward and publicly...
I've really been talking about this since Gamergate because of DLC and whatnot. But now it's extended over into physical games, which, if you were paying attention back then, people like me, we called it all the way back then. We knew it was going to happen, and we knew that children were going to grow up in this, and they're going to just be accustomed to the culture and think that it was always normal.
Goat-seeing the entire gaming space, letting you know that physical media is for the birds, kick rocks, pussy, we're done with that garbage now, and then hit kickflip on the way out about all...
And you get a lot of people that are defending it because they don't buy into the physical games, so they don't care, but they're willing to defend Sony and corporations, probably just because they're just playing online. They don't care. They just want the attention.
Digital being the future, you will own nothing and be happy type shit, something Ubisoft openly talked about.
They want attention even if it's just one person to argue with because they're bored.
As well, about how gamers need to be more comfortable not owning their games. Just a bunch of hoopla and hoo-ha that's really popped off, mainly thanks to Sony puffing on their cigars and gloating about how they're banishing discs to the Shadow Realms. The plebeians will have to deal with this future. But the writing's been on the wall for a while. This isn't out of nowhere. It has been gearing towards this path.
Yeah, and either become DRM free if you're going to have an all-digital future, or you're going to have to compete with free. Because let me tell you, if free is going to be a better service than what you're offering, that's the route I'm taking.
For a while, and it's not something I've been enthusiastic about. So I've been going back to the old ways, the primal living, the way our forefathers used to play video games and engage with entertainment. Tangible, physical shit you could take a bite out of it.
I don't do that. I don't got no physical games. Well, I got a few. I got 360. But most of my games are on drives, and I unconventionally acquired them.
I'm talking ancestral origins. Like going across the Oregon Trail with just your Game Boy in hand. So yeah, I've been building a very vast physical media collection, predominantly games right now, because a project that I'm working on with Nick, our engineer friend, is a black box gaming console for me where it can just play every single game all in one spot. Basically like a codenamed Kids Next Door gadget where I can pop in an Xbox disc or a Nintendo 64 cartridge and be able to just play it instantly, so I can utilize all of my physical games in one location, make it really convenient. So that's reaching its final stage here, and I can't wait for that. It's not something we're selling or anything, it's just for me because I've been building such a library, and I want to be able to stream all of these too, so it'll obviously like boot.
Yeah, and people will watch it because you're showing it off, and I will probably watch it because that sounds cool as fuck. And more people are going to be doing this, and it's just going to become easier and easier to do this.
Through emulators, which I think is the most important component to preservation at this point. But anyway, the point...
That's the route that I take.
The point I'm making is, I am a big physical media advocate, and today I got sent this headline here about the old digital future boogeyman rearing its only head up and the consequences of it. A PBS station has taken legal action after losing access to more than 50 terabytes of programming and archives spanning 70 years of television history.
Thank God all of that is available online that people are unconventionally acquiring. So what I predict is they're going to have to search and pirate their own content. Oh, the irony.
It claims its files became trapped after its cloud storage provider apparently went out of business. Now, Louis Rossmann did some coverage of this, and it's a far more insightful deep dive into something that goes beyond just like digital future, boo, bah humbug, digital only future. It actually showcases a very common incompetence in like these businesses, even ones like PBS, where people that are paid tons of money just don't even really seem to be doing their job or even know how to do their job, because this is so incredibly preventable what happened to this PBS station. They just decided not to make any backup. Why? Yeah, I want to show you some pieces from the Louis Rossmann video. I recommend you check out the full thing. I'll, of course, link it in the description. But there are so many times where this could have just completely been sidestepped here. Like, yes, digital only super sucks. Like, I think it's very clear that I'm not a fan of the direction all this is going. But in this instance here,
I don't mind digital only, like I said, if it's DRM free. But honestly, that's not going to happen. Obviously, it's not going to happen. So physical it is, I guess. Or, you know, competing with free.
This goes beyond just like digital only bad.
There's a local PBS affiliate in St. Louis that lost about 50 terabytes of stuff. It doesn't seem like they had a local backup. The reason I'm saying it doesn't seem like they had a local backup is because when their cloud provider for their data went defunct, instead of just walk over to their local backup, which is free, they went to court. And going to court requires a lawyer. It takes a lot of time. That is not something that you do if you have a couple of hard drives sitting by where you could just grab all yours. So they're claiming that they lost about 50 terabytes of stuff that goes back about 70 years in the community of...
What a bunch of fucking lunatic idiots.
Of all this different type of coverage, and they're saying that they don't have access to the data on the hardware of the servers.
Exactly. It doesn't seem like they had a local backup, because if they did, they probably wouldn't be jumping through all of these.
Well, it was easier and faster. I guarantee you, whatever 60-year-old lady runs that place, that's exactly what she was thinking. We have to get on board.
Legal hoops to get their paws back.
Put
on
everything
data
in the
that they've lost
cloud.
Here in this,
it's more secure
circus with their cloud storage provider, which is baffling considering this is a PBS station. Now, of course, there is a lot of confusion that I've seen people thinking this is like, you know, big boy PBS. This is a single station, but even still, they do have a lot of money and a lot of moving parts there. They are large, and even your average Greg Coleslaw is someone who is probably just backing up their shit anyway, because that's just a standard practice. So you would think for a business like this, a PBS station...
Well, they went woke and they got rid of all of the actual competent people. Happens every time.
That would be some...
I wonder how many feminist women and men work at that place.
Thing that the IT
department, fucking commies,
would make a priority
They're
to
incompetent.
Ensure that this kind of thing never happened. Because this is something you can always at least imagine happening. It's fucking cloud storage provider. Like, there's always the chance that things get rocky. There is a chance that shit like this happens. There's no reason why you should 100% believe that it's always going to be sunshine and rainbows and you'll always...
Oh, we're using AI to manage all of our content, all of our videos now, so we can keep it organized. Oh shit, the AI accidentally deleted everything that we have. It's these kinds of morons that do shit like that.
Always have access to that, so it all goes on one singular location. Why would you not have backups just for safety?
Because they're
for peace
stupid.
of mind, even. Like, that is an important redundancy that I think would be like a priority for any company, really, especially one of this size. Yet, it doesn't appear that was the case, which is so fucking wacky.
This PBS affiliate was renting cloud storage from open source storage, but open source storage does not have their own servers, their own racks, their own hard drives. Open source storage was renting space from Iron Mountain, which is a data center. And it looks like OSS went out of business or they went defunct. From what I read here, they were not able to communicate with them, and also they had a delinquency status with the Colorado Secretary of State. So most likely they are going out of business. And it also looks like that OSS did not renew PBS's contract, and that they actually give you about 30 days to grab all your stuff.
There's not a whole ton I can find on OSS, but from what I can see, there is some...
OSS, you mean like from Spy Kids?
Weird stuff that was going on with that company in particular, like being sold or not. That
Also, wasn't OSS an actual like government organization that was predating CIA?
Kind of stuff in this weird limbo. And it's something that I feel should have been painfully obvious to the IT guy at PBS that they were paying six figures to, that maybe being ghosted should be a strong sign that...
Just because there is an IT guy who knows stuff about IT doesn't mean he's not a complete retard.
It's time they download their own data and have this backup just in case things go tits up. But that come to Jesus moment, I suppose, never dawned on him.
This is from the Ars Technica article. 9PBS most recent contract with OSS ended on March 6th. 9PBS said it couldn't get a response from OSS about renewing the contract in February. The station claims its contract gave it 30 days to retrieve data at the end of the contract. However, 9PBS says it abruptly lost access to the data when the contract expired. The contract, okay, first things first here. If you are trying to renew your contract and they are not allowing you to renew your contract for 70 years of your data, the first thing that you fucking do is you run out immediately. You do not pass go, do not collect 200, run to Best Buy, run to Walmart, and grab as many hard drives as you can. Plug them into the
if you can.
Computer and start downloading your shit immediately. If you know that you do not have your data anywhere else but one server, one company that is no longer accepting your money or extending your contract, that's a 911 level emergency.
Yeah, you don't
Probably the IT person wasn't supposed to be an IT person, and that's all they had left. And they took over the position and maybe even learned the position as they were in it and actually had no idea what they were doing. I could see that being a possibility. Because who the fuck wants to work at some random PBS studio that's completely wokeified?
Have to be John computation to figure this much out. It's not the most complicated
Oh yeah, corporate bureaucracy at its finest.
Puzzle ever. Just put the square in the square hole. All of your data for 70 years is in one location, and that location is now not answering you, is not letting you renew. You don't have it anywhere else.
Where did you have it before? We haven't had 70 years of cloud storage. So you deleted the previous backup? What the fuck?
How could that possibly not trigger the alarm bells? How could you still be de-aggroed and...
Where did the other 50 years go at least?
Not recognize the huge glaring issue there. Like, this is, you're going to see the salary in a moment. This is someone who was paid 6 figures. This is their tech savant, their tech god, who this should have been a priority to ensure can't happen, just somehow lets it fly by the wayside, and now they're caught with their dick in their hand. It was so easily preventable. Like, this is what I'm saying. Yes, digital only sucks. And when there's this blind trust in cloud storage to just have everything forever for you, it's going to lead to problems like this.
Where did the originals go?
But this was so easily avoidable if they had just done like the very basics that people are doing every day, normal people, not even companies, of backing up their shit. Just having these safeties, these redundant, and somehow someone who's getting paid 6 figures can't do it or doesn't think to do it. That's so fucking weird. And I think this is my own little personal theory here, my own little game theory. I think a lot of the people that are getting these companies, like these tech positions, are able to just kind of bullshit their way in there. And they just look at the cloud as this buzzword and it'll take care of them no matter what. Everything's okay. Cloud, 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 that kind of thing. And they just don't, like, they don't actually do their job. Like that's kind of just the impression I get.
Looking at their 990, we can see that there is a chief technology officer that makes $179,000 a year. Now, while this is not, I'm buying my own island to compete with Epstein, I'm going to have a bunch of Bentleys that change colors like MC Hammer outside my house.
No, but you're living quite comfortably with that.
Level salary. That is enough money that somebody was there.
Yeah, you ain't got to worry about life if you're making that kind of money. Especially in a position like that where you don't really have to do much because you put it all in the cloud.
That has some sort, that should have some sort of technical know-how to the point that they understand that if we have 70 years of our data on one server and that company is no longer responding to us, we need to download that shit right fucking now.
But I guess not. 6 figures wasn't enough to get him out of bed to take care of what is a very clear issue. I don't know what their job even entailed then in that case. Like maybe their job was just to go around.
Hell, man, I'll take that position. Like seriously, hire me. I'll do a better job. I'm actually pretty good at IT. I run my own shit for fun.
And like turn computers off and on when they were experiencing problems, and that was like the extent of their technical or maybe they open a command prompt and like they just start clapping like this guy's good. Like I don't know, because how are you getting paid that much money and don't make backups just for safety? Like, even without all of this happening with OSS, why would they have not just had backups just to have it, just in case?
The originals, what happened to them? Did they destroy them? I think so, probably.
Like, I feel like that's just a very standard, or rather should be a very standard practice for companies of this size and that have been around for this long with so much important. It just doesn't make sense. And I think, again, it ties back into my theory. I believe that a lot of people that are getting these positions, like these tech positions, these companies, are really not fit for those jobs. Like, I don't think they actually know what they're doing.
When people say, well, this is what happens when you don't fund public media appropriately, is $179,000 a year not enough to have a competent tech professional that understands that storing all of your data on one server from one company that is no longer responsible?
Yeah, not if that $179,000 individual can go work at a better company. They would even take a pay cut to work at, because nobody wants to work at fucking PBS.
Funding to you means you should start downloading it immediately. Is that too much to ask?
Rossman then goes through the financials of this PBS station, like what they bring in per year, and it's a sizable amount, sometimes millions. So even just setting aside the salary of this position that definitely should have had this control, this station did have enough money where it is really kind of inexcusable that they wouldn't just have their own backup. Like, it's pretty ridiculous when even just normal people are having, like, tons of terabytes worth of backups for their own shit. Like, you can get a 20 terabyte hard drive for about $700 right now, thing Ross as well. So it really is just super ridiculous. Digital only future is bleak. That sucks. In this case, it's a combination of like digital only, like this blind belief in digital only being the only path forward, and also just gross incompetence from the IT guy that is paid tons of money that just decided not to do his job and not go through like the most obvious protocol.
And that's where we're gonna end today's show. I usually will have more. It will be a longer show. This was my first episode. I didn't know how it was gonna go, and it was quite successful, but I was kind of late on it. I had to fix some things. This recording took 4 hours, but altogether it took about 8 just to get this one episode. It won't take that long next time. I'll have this going smoothly, perfectly. Be sure to like this video. Share it with every single person you've ever met in your entire life. And I will see you next time when I have all pieces of the show completed. And I'll see you in episode 2.